Test one, two, test. Pineapple. Pineapple. All right, how's it sound?
Perfect.
Perfect pineapple. All right. Ready when you are, sir.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
So remember when during Trump's first term when like one of the Kardashians went up to went to the White House and like talked to Trump and like he came out of that and he was like, I'm gonna pardon this old lady who got
Alice,
arrested for
her
selling
name was
drugs.
Alice Johnson. I don't know how I remember that bit. I remember. I don't remember. She did. Kim Kardashian went to the Oval Office, and she was actually working with the guy, the black dude that's always on CNN, Van Jones. Like they were working together for a deal to get like nonviolent offenders out of prison. Basically, I can't. They had. There was a name for the program.
Yeah, and they
But
got like a bunch of nonviolent defenders out of
yeah,
prison, like through Trump, and he
yep,
was doing I like gave him credit. I was like, this is
yeah.
great. Good job, Trump. Way to go.
It
Yeah.
was. It was definitely one of the great things he did in his first term. He didn't do many. That was a good one.
This term,
Okay.
he has pardoned so many violent offenders that it's insane. It's and
So hold on, if you take away the January 6 people, because
uh-huh.
that's the vast majority of them.
Okay.
So it just I know that counts, but just take those away. Other than that, the only like real one there's a guy and I don't remember his name, but he started they call it like the Silk Road or something like that. But it was
Yeah.
basically a dark web website where people sold fentanyl and all kinds of stuff, and people were supposedly because of him has led to people's deaths, is what a court found that to be true,
Right. But
and
he wasn't violent.
he got like life sentences for
Yeah.
basically starting that website, and I know Trump pardoned him. Other than him, I can't think of any violent him and the J6ers, and there's a lot of J6ers. But has there been any other violent ones, or am I wrong? Am I missing some?
So he's bringing back that one guy who is going to testify against Abrego Garcia, who's an actual like
Okay, yeah,
criminal, right? And then
that guy's getting a plea deal for testifying against Garcia. Yeah.
maybe the vast majority of the people he's already pardoned have just been like really rich people who really like screwed over the like people, right?
This term, so the January Sixers, there was a bunch of them. So I'm not trying to
Yeah.
discount that. But if you take that out, like he's only pardoned a handful of people that I can think of so far. And like most of them have been like political allies of his who he claims that the left persecuted because they were supporters of Trump. That's
Well, and then there's that
the
one
thing.
guy who was kind of like there was those two that husband and wife who like committed bank
Oh,
fraud
the
and
Chrisleys. So that's a prime example right there of like they didn't hurt anybody. They committed, there
yeah.
was a victim to their crime for sure, but like they were Trump supporters and their daughter ran a hardcore campaign where she was like, "My parents were locked up for supporting Donald Trump." So Trent, I don't think they were. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know a lot about the case. I just know that they got found guilty and then Trump pardoned them. So it's all been political supporters. And the key thing, what you're missing real quick, the pardons aren't really the story. It's all the charges that he's had his Department of Justice drop. Like certain people that paid the $5 million to go have dinner with him at Mar-a-Lago or bought a bunch of his
Yeah.
meme coin, and like they buy it, and the next week, like charges are dropped against them, and the money that's going to save them just in legal fees, let alone possible prison time. So like that's what he's really done that's egregious, like law wise.
Right, because there was that one guy whose mother went and like gave Trump $1 million or something, and like the next week, Trump pardoned her son,
I
and
can't remember that one, but I believe it. It's in line
yeah,
with what he's
but
doing.
he owed like a couple $1 million to different people who he screwed over, and now he doesn't have to pay that back.
Yeah, there
Anyway,
was.
this I was going where I was going with this was guess who he's about to pardon now, or he's thinking about pardoning. There's two
Besides,
people.
besides Ghislaine.
Is it Ghislaine or Ghislaine
So
or
I actually
Ghislaine?
somebody said that the right way to say it is Ghislaine.
Ghislaine. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's Ghislaine, and then there's P Diddy.
So he's gonna pardon P Diddy?
He's considering it.
Okay. I don't know that he's actually gonna do that. Plus, P Diddy pretty much got off. Like I don't know what kind of
Yeah.
prison time he's gonna have to serve, but like he got
Not
out
much.
way easier than everybody think. there's a guy like the main one that I always hear about. His name is Justin Sun. He's a crypto billionaire, and he like apparently was gonna get charged big time. It would have ruined him. And he ended up buying like $100 million worth of Trump coin, and then, like a week later they dropped all the charges again. And there was no reason to drop the charges. Like he was clearly guilty of what he was being charged with, and that's the most blatant. Like if you wanted to point at like an airtight like this is corruption, like that's the perfect one to point at. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
the Ghislaine one is also it's about to be the perfect one to point at, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
And yeah, and P. Diddy and the January Sixers. I mean,
yeah.
he's abusing the power.
The January Sixers one was funny because like the day before he did it, JD Vance was on ABC or one of the main channels, and he was like, "No, of course we're not going to pardon the violent offenders. Like, I can't believe you would insinuate that we would do that." And then Trump did it the next day, and it was like, "Ooh, yeah." So
And like a good handful of them have already been rearrested.
yeah, and a lot of them like have been arrested for weird like kiddie porn, or I don't mean I can say, but yeah, like indecent images of children, like.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, it hasn't been like it's not like they're getting picked up for DUI, which a couple have, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
been a couple where it's like abusing children. Okay, well,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you got to think that the kind of person that would go to the Capitol like ready for war is probably the person that's also willing to do a lot of other weird stuff. I'm
you
just
just
gonna
got a
say.
lot of screws loose. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my thought. So,
Yeah.
and I will separate them because I've argued with people about the whole like well not all of them were violent like on January 6th, and like here's my defining line because I do believe there were people that showed up in Washington that day that had no intention of going in and storming the Capitol. Like there were definitely people out there like that. If you stepped into the Capitol building after they broke, if you had to walk by broken windows and doors that had clearly been bashed in and you took a step into the Capitol, I
Yeah.
don't feel sorry for you at all. If you
No.
remained outside of the Capitol, then I could hear an argument that they didn't know what was going on. Like they were just there for a rally. Like I'm
Right.
sympathetic to that. If you I hate to repeat
Yeah.
myself, but if you went
Well,
into the Capitol, even if you weren't the first ones in that broke everything, if you just walked in after that, clearly you're walking by realizing, oh shit, we stormed the Capitol, like we did it, we broke in.
we did
If
it. Yeah, we're
yeah,
in.
if you went in at that point, then you don't deserve any leniency.
You're
That's how
part
I
of that
feel.
group. You're part
Yeah,
of that group.
exactly.
And part of me wants to say if you hung around after they put up a noose and were chanting
Yeah,
"Hang Mike Pence," I feel like
but
I mean, you could be a standard buyer and just watching and
now, let me flip it to the other side, though. If you were at the George Floyd protests in the summer of 2020, and all of a sudden people started breaking windows of storefronts and setting things on fire, if you stuck around at that point, you're just as bad as the people say. Like, if you were sitting there going, "Yeah, I never started a fire, but I was cheering it on," I don't care. You're
yeah,
just as bad as the idiot starting the fire. If
yeah.
you're a decent person and you're at a protest and all of a sudden shit starts to get vandalized, that's when I think me and you, if we were there, would say, "Hey, let's get out of here. Let's go ahead and book it real
No, I
quick."
would have my camera and I would stick around and take
Okay,
pictures.
I
But
just you know me, I'm a wimp. I would
yeah,
immediately be like, "Dude, I'm heading to the car. Like, I'm not going to jail for this shit." So,
yeah, I'm kind of yeah. I feel like I'm more of a watcher.
yeah.
I would enjoy watching chaos and mayhem in the streets of
I
any
think
city.
if you had your camera and you were like, "I'm a
Yeah,
freelance photographer," you might be okay police wise there. I don't really
yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm media.
Um,
I got my media badge. I'm just yeah.
yeah. So, I don't know. But that's how I feel. It is a double-edged sword because the right loves to point at the George Floyd protest and go, "Well, that was clearly a riot." And like I have
Right.
to be honest, like yes, after the sun went down and shit started breaking and getting set on fire, then yes, it was a riot at that point. Like now the Trump rally ahead of time on the ellipse was not a riot. It was a rally. But if you went from the rally to walking through the Capitol, that's where you crossed that line. So
That's true.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
anyhow, that's all I said about that. But can I talk a little Ghislaine? I'm gonna keep saying Ghislaine. I'm not trying to be rude, but that's what I've said. But can I talk a little Maxwell Epstein before we get into everything else?
Let's go. Yeah.
And I feel bad for people that are done with this story because we've talked about it every episode for like 3 weeks now. But he keeps doing shit. Like the number one story when you have or the number one rule when you have a story that's bad for you, like if you're the White House and you know something's coming out, like what they always tell you is get it all out there immediately. If you can beat the press to it, like just put it all out, answer all the questions. It's like ripping off the band-aid. Get it over with. And then from then on, you can if anybody asks, you can say, "Hey, we already answered that question. We're not talking about it again." Like just
Yeah.
you got at some point it's all going to come out. Just get it over with quick. drawing it out over weeks and months is like the worst case scenario,
Yeah.
and that's what the Trump administration seems determined to do.
What
Real
are they
quick,
hiding? Is this a cover-up?
I, it's so weird because I said to you before all this started, and I said to you for the first week of this current Epstein saga, like I really didn't think that like there was evidence in there that Trump was diddling kids. Like if there was, it would have come out one way or another. Either they would have used it against him or it would have leaked. But like if there was that evidence, we would have heard about it by now. I feel confident about that.
Yeah.
Everything Trump's doing though makes it seem like there's something like they went from saying that there are no files to there are files, and the Democrats stacked it with all this bad stuff about Trump that's fake. And it's like, okay, so we all at this point can agree that there is something in those files directly about Trump that he doesn't want us to see. Like
Oh yeah.
that's 100%. Now you can
He's already
say,
said it. He said that
this,
everything about me in the files, everything about me in the files, which means there's a lot, right?
and it's bad
Is
enough to
made
where
up.
he doesn't want to release it. So now again, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's evidence he was with underage girls. Doesn't mean that, but there's something in there. It could be financial, it could be money laundering, whatever. There's
I
something
have a
in there.
feeling he was business partners with
So
him. He was helping him recruit.
Oh, and I was reading today, he had a modeling agency from 99 to 2017. As soon as he got into office and like Epstein started popping back up, they dissolved the modeling agency like right away. It was like, just
Yep.
get rid of it and hope nobody asks questions. But I think at this point, the only thing we can really argue, and I don't feel like this is a legit argument, but I'm going to give a little bit of room to the right here. The only thing you can argue is whether or not the stuff in the file is true or not, which, just because it's in there, it has to be proven in a court of law, so it might not be true. But whether it's true or not, and then whether Obama and Biden and Hillary and all them planted it there to try to get Trump. So that's the
Zero.
only thing left to argue because there's definitely bad stuff about Trump in there. Okay.
Yeah.
My Maha family member that I got to talk to a couple months ago, I tried to bring up Epstein at one point. I know Epstein was a big deal for her a couple of years ago. So I was like, hey,
Okay.
I got to see her right after they said there's nothing to see here. There's no more charges, case closed, go away. I saw her like 3 days later and I was like, yes, I can't wait for this. So I asked her, what do you think? And she was pissed. She was not happy with Trump. She said he hopes he gets punished. And I was like, how? She's like, I don't know. I just hope he gets punished for this. Anyhow, the first thing she was quick to say to me was, well, Trump broke off his relationship with Epstein back in like the early 2000s because Epstein tried to hit on a girl at his club and somebody reported to Trump and Trump didn't want that. So Trump kicked him out. And like, I've heard that from her and a number of Trump voters. Like, that's the first thing they say is, well, he totally disavowed him and kicked him out of the club because Epstein tried to hit on an underage girl in the club. That's been the story. I never knew where that came from, but apparently members of the White House press corps have been telling the press that, or the White House press shop, like that, not Kim Levitt, but the Carolyn Levitt, but the people under her. So like this has been the official White House story for like the last 3 months. Is to say it one more time, Epstein tried to hit on an underage girl who was apparently the daughter of somebody at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay.
They complained to Trump about it, and Trump was furious about it and kicked him out and hasn't talked to him since. That's been the story, okay?
Right. And then he changed it.
Why didn't he just stick with that story? That's a good story. That was honestly when my Maha family member hit me with that, I'm like, if that's true, that's a good point for you in this case.
Yeah.
Anyhow, here let's let Trump tell us what really happened real quick. This is from Fox.
People keep writing stories about the time he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. Can you settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach with him?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
So he did something that was really inappropriate, which if he had just stopped there, if he would have said, I haven't talked to him in years because he did something that was really inappropriate, just end it there and you're still good. But then he takes it a step further. He hired help. Basically, he's mad that he poached his workers. Like,
Yeah.
Epstein poached workers out of the spa that Trump liked. And what's really funny about this is Trump's trying to pin it all on Epstein now, and the right and Newsmax is really doing it, but they're trying to now kind of rebrand Ghislaine and say, well, she could have been a victim here. Like she got treated
Oh yeah.
unfairly. Like they're trying to do this, but really, according to all accounts, it was Ghislaine that was poaching the people. She's the one that got Virginia Giuffre out of the spa.
Uh-huh.
Every girl that has been an Epstein accuser has said that Ghislaine was the one who found them, talked them into coming over there for a job, and then basically trafficked them to Epstein.
And wasn't Ghislaine was like friends with Trump's second wife, and they were poaching
Yeah,
people in front of schools?
I think it was Ivanka,
Yeah.
Ivana, whatever,
Yvonne.
whichever one's not his daughter. One of
Ivanka.
them, like they were BFFs. Yeah, and there was a story. There was a third lady riding with them in the car, and apparently they passed the school when it was getting out, and Ghislaine was like, "Stop the car. I'll be right back," and like ran out and like talked to a couple 18, 17-year-old girls, whatever, like gave them her number and then hopped back in the car. And this girl was so freaked out about it, they started like buying her gifts to calm her down.
Huh.
Anyhow, um,
Interesting.
but
I
that's
like how Trump started that with I don't want to talk about it.
did you notice the accordion hands are back too?
I think that might be his tell. He did like this thing where he like rubbed his cheek and then he went into the accordion hands, and I think that might be his like I'm bullshitting you
He's
tell.
he's telling a grand story. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's on he's on the fly. He's thinking off the top or off his feet, just boom boom and just spitting it out as it
Yeah.
comes. And that's
Huh.
back in the first Trump term. There was something I maybe it was on Twitter or whatever, where every time Trump talked, they would like animate an accordion in between his hands and
Yeah.
like make the noises. I missed that, but yeah, the accordion
Yeah,
hands
that's
were
good.
back. But really, so that's the big thing is he poached help for or poached workers from Mar-a-Lago, and that's what Trump's mad at. And again, does Trump not know what's going on? Like, does he not know that his all his people under him have been putting out this other story that's working quite well? Stick to
Yeah.
that story. It makes me think that Trump is either oblivious or maybe he's getting forgetful. He is 79. Maybe he forgot that that was the story. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
think he's under a lot of pressure and he's
yeah,
starting to crack a little bit. He can't keep his story
maybe.
straight. He's trying to figure out, yeah.
That's such an easy one to get right though. Like that shot when he said that, it shocked me because it was like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Like you've had a good lie going, and people were buying it. Nobody was really challenging that. Now, since he said the whole, they poached my workers stuff, people went back and looked somehow, and he claimed that he kicked Epstein out of the club in like 2003 or 2005. I can't remember which one, but that's when they
Okay.
claimed that he kicked him out. But apparently, Epstein was on the membership rolls all the way till 2008, about 2 months after he got charged initially with trafficking underage girls, is when he, like
Uh,
2 months later, got removed from the rolls. Now, maybe he was still paying his dues and just not coming.
Trump still had his modeling agency then?
He did have his modeling agency then, but
I
there's
have a feeling
basically
Trump was like, I have a feeling Trump is like the recruiter, like head, like he's part of the recruiting team for this like Epstein operation or whatever.
here's
Like with the modeling agency and Melania and uh Ivanka. Is it Ivanka or Ivana?
which one's his daughter? I think his daughter is Ivanka.
Yeah,
We
we
should
don't get
know
that
this.
wrong.
They both
Yeah.
is Jared and Ivanka. I just say it together. So Ivanka's
Okay.
his daughter.
Got
Ivana was his first wife.
it. Ivana. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we should know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it seems like he's right smack dab in the middle of it. He's best friends I've seen for what, 10, 15 years.
So
Friends with him longer.
it's so tempting to go down like a conspiracy theory rabbit hole of like, oh, I'll bet he was trafficking girls, or I'll bet this. Like, and there are some dots that you could connect and make that case. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stick with like what do we know with it? I'm trying not to get too overbearing on this or over
Yeah.
hyperbolic. Like what do we know? We know that his name's in the file and that whatever it says, he would rather us not see it. Like that's what we know for sure.
We know
So
he introduced Trump to his wife, his current wife.
we know Epstein. Do we know that?
Yeah, I think so. Michael
Okay.
Wolff has evidence or testimony from, maybe not testimony, what would be just like uh what did Michael Wolff say? He said that Trump slept with Melania for the first time on the Lolita Express.
Hmm.
Remember that?
So Wikipedia says some guy named Zampoli introduced Melania to real estate mogul Donald Trump at a party. Now, I did hear Kyle Kalinske say that Trump slept with Melania for the first time on the Ludi Express. I don't know where that came from, so
This is from
maybe.
Michael Wolff. This is from Michael
Okay.
Wolff.
And Michael Wolff also in an interview recently said that while he was talking to Epstein at Epstein's house, Epstein was like, "Oh, hold on a second," got up and went over to a safe, and apparently the safe was like the size of a room. It was one of those you open, it's a safe door, but then you walk in and it's huge. But he
Yeah.
came back out with pictures of Donald Trump with young girls topless on his lap, but
Hmm.
never. He said that Epstein never made a comment about them being underage, and based off the pictures, he could just tell they were young.
There was a stain on Donald Trump pants, and they were laughing at him.
I didn't hear that part.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I think that's
I
the
didn't hear
same
that.
story.
Okay.
Where it's like
Anyhow, so
there's like a stain on his pants, and the
but
girls are pointing and laughing.
but here's the thing: Donald Trump, like in the '90s, like if you showed all of us right now a picture of Donald Trump in the '90s with a girl on each knee, topless, like that kind of goes. It's par for the course. Like we know that about Donald Trump. Like as long as they're 19 or above, like I don't think everybody's going to say, "Oh, we knew he was a billionaire playboy." Like that's
Yeah.
you're not unless they're underage, it don't matter, and that's kind of where I land on that.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. So
But yeah, there's just so much. There's so much
there's-
that points him in the vicinity. So Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine were both convicted of being child predators, traffickers,
yeah,
rapists,
I don't know
all the
what they were
stuff.
actually convicted. You know what? Epstein wasn't convicted the second time. He died in prison before he could be convicted. I think he hung
Oh, okay,
himself before trial.
okay.
So
Well,
yeah. So
allegedly.
he
Uh,
killed himself.
yeah.
Real quick. You were just talking about a tell. We might, when Trump does his hands, he might be lying. Let me ask you
Uh-huh.
this. It's safe to say that he knows who Virginia I can't remember how you say her last name, Giuffre, whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
but he's got to know that name. All the accusations flying around. Epstein plucked her, or Ghislaine plucked her from Mar-a-Lago. So Lord knows he knows that name, right? Can we agree on that?
Sure.
There's no
Yeah.
way that you're going to ask him about Virginia Giuffre, and he's going to be like, "Who? I've never heard that name in my life." Like he's got to know that. So
Yeah.
on the plane, they kind of were re-questioning him about the whole Epstein poaching
Yeah.
his workers. So real quick, this is from C-SPAN. But tell me if at the end of this, if Trump's giving any tells that he's clearly lying here. Check this
Okay.
out.
Yeah. And this is the one he starts it the same way, which I don't want to talk about this, and then he just like spills all the beans.
I think so.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
With some of them,
Were some of them young women?
well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad, but that story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young
Yeah.
women.
What did they do?
In the spa.
Jobs.
In the spa.
Yeah, it's people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago, and people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, does that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
There's so much to that.
There's so much. So I love how he also he's such a salesman at heart that he said, "Well, my spa," and then he had to stop and go, "The best spa in the world," remember? And then he continues because he just has to throw that out there. But at the end, when they ask him about Virginia Giuffre, I think what we got to see is in real time his brain processing, because his instinct was to be like, "Who? Her? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was her." But then I think his brain was working. He's like, "Hold on, wait, no, they're gonna know this."
And she had no complaints, you know that.
Yeah, but he was like, "Yeah, you know what? In fact, I think she might have been. Yeah, she was in the spa. You know what? He stole her from me. And it's like, whoa, like your story evolved there from I don't know to I'm sure of it in like 10
Yeah.
seconds. But then at the end, and I do believe she said that nothing ever happened at Mar-a-Lago with her. It was when Ghislaine grabbed her, convinced her to come work for Epstein. And then Epstein, then they got her into all kinds of stuff. She supposedly had to have sex with Epstein and Prince Andrew, I believe, whoever it is. He's an old man now over there, but
Yeah, I would be surprised if we got a look at some of his tax returns and there was like money wire transfers from Jeffrey Epstein to Donald Trump.
that's apparently one of the Democratic senators. And it might have been Durbin or somebody. They're chasing down that rabbit hole right now. Apparently there's like $1.1 billion worth of wire transfers that were like flagged as suspicious for Epstein, and
Oh,
like the FBI, it looks like did investigate those, but then nobody ever knows what came of that. So he's trying
oh.
to get that to be made public somehow. I don't think he's got the power to do it, but that's what he's barking about right now. So
Yeah, this makes sense. It just makes sense that he was because then he can like tell Caroline Levitt, I didn't know. He was just, I
yeah,
thought had another modeling agency and he was just taking my models and like, whatever. Like,
if
he's
he
just a complete liar.
If he would have never brought up the fact that his name is in there, then you could at least be going, is he protecting a friend? Like maybe he's protecting donors. But because he said his name's in there, like the only place you can be left to be is like, oh, he's protecting himself. Like there's something in there about him. And if it was clearly fake, if it was fake, obviously, he'd release it and explain why it's fake. But he's not doing that, which,
He's not.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And did you know Levitt has like $300,000 worth of debt, like campaign debt?
I did not know that. Which no,
Yeah.
she's married to like some rich old dude. Like she's 27 and married to some guy that's like 60 and like a millionaire, billionaire. I don't know.
She's married to a 60-year-old?
He's old. I'm probably exaggerating with 60. Hold on, Caroline. I can't
You're looking
spell.
that up. I'm looking up her debt. You look up her husband. Yeah. Karen Levitt slammed over $300,000 debt. Carolyn Levitt failed campaign owes more than $300,000.
What did she run for?
Uh, failed
So
congressional campaign. Yeah. Yeah. So she ran. It says White House Press Secretary Karen Levitt owes $326,370.50 in the aftermath of her failed 2022 congressional campaign. Hmm. New Hampshire. Okay.
okay, so Caroline Levitt's husband is a guy named Nicholas Rico. He's a real estate developer and has significant net worth. His net worth is supposedly 6 million, which is that's not as much as I thought it would be. But he was 59 years old when they married while she was 27. So
Whoa.
yeah, so now I think he's like 60 and she's 28 maybe.
Oh, maybe she was part of the Epstein thing.
I think we'd hear about that. I don't think that's the case. But anyhow, yeah, so
She's one of the happy ones. She was pleased to be.
yeah. Um, okay, so real quick, the last thing I want to get out about Ghislaine and Epstein. We've talked about how Todd Blanche, who was Trump's former attorney, has been going down to Tallahassee twice now to meet with Ghislaine to talk. I don't know what they're talking about. I have a theory on
Yeah.
what's happening here, but I want to let Chris Christie give his little theory on, or not even theory on what's happening, but if this is legit or not. This is Chris Christie on ABC.
So he went to get the Deputy Attorney General of the United States went to spend 2 days in Tallahassee to talk to a woman in prison because he wanted to see if she had more information.
Look, I joined the Justice Department 23 years ago as the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey. I worked under 4 different deputies attorney general, and I've watched a number of others since that time.
Yeah.
I have never seen this done, ever. The Deputy Attorney General runs the Department of Justice. They don't interview witnesses. And so I wonder, the first question that popped to my mind as Sarah and I were talking about this was, whenever you're a line assistant or anyone who's interviewing a witness, you bring at least one agent with you, if not 2. So there are a number of people taking notes and there are witnesses there. We have heard nothing about whether Todd Blanche brought anyone with him to verify whatever he's going to report back as a third independent source. This is highly unusual. And if they're building a case for what and against who? She's in jail for 20 years and her co-conspirator is dead. So what exactly are they doing? It makes it look even worse. I think this is a bad political move for the White House on top of it.
Yep.
So, super correct there. Is Todd Blanche going in there alone? If he is, like, can we all agree he's going in there as Donald Trump's personal attorney, not as the assistant attorney general? Like, he's there on Trump's behalf. Maybe he is taking some line prosecutors with him to be in the room. If he is, they should tell us because nobody thinks that that's what's happening here. My personal theory here is that she's been given an offer of a deal of either clear Trump's name or give us some names that the MAGA base will love to hear. Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, and there's a couple Democrat people that she could throw out. Either give us them or clear Trump. If you do, now here's the thing. People are saying he's going to pardon her. I think he's going to get around having to do that. She's right now going to the Supreme Court, and her argument is that the 2007, what do they call it, a sweetheart hush, or what do they call it, a sweetheart deal he got, it supposedly protected him and all his co-conspirators, which she would be one of. So that whole plea deal got thrown out in like 2019, and that's when he got recharged. But she's arguing that, hey, I had a protection deal. I signed a plea, or I was part of that plea, and now what they did to me was unconstitutional. She's probably going to lose that. The Department of Justice has to go in and argue against her on that. So if the Department of Justice just goes, honestly, we think she's right. Like, there was a plea deal and they shouldn't have done what they did. So we're not challenging it. So she could get released without Trump ever having to actually pardon her. Bondi will look terrible there. But, like, I don't think Trump minds throwing Bondi under the bus on this one. Like, she's already hated by MAGA. So all she has to do is not fight the Ghislaine appeal. Ghislaine goes free. And then in return for going free, she'll come to Congress and she'll either clear Trump's name or throw out some names of some people that will distract everybody from Trump being in there. If you give the base Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, those two alone, give them those two. Throw in Tom Hanks or Oprah just for easy, that really push it over the edge. But
but we've been talking about the files for so long.
I think that'll distract everybody from the files.
I think everybody's going to see through the BS. I think that they see what's actually, most people are seeing like, maybe not all the MAGA, but the MAGA that are paying attention and that are angry about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and him not releasing the files are paying attention. And they're paying attention to what's going on with Ghislaine. And
so I got to say, I think that's such a small sliver of the MAGA base. Now, it might be 2 or 3 points, enough to cost him an election, but like it's very, very tiny. Like that group that you're talking about. Everybody that doesn't like Trump and wasn't voting for Trump will be agreeing with you. They're like, this is clearly bullshit. The people that voted for Trump, I think there's a small percentage of them, like the Andrew Schultz crowd or, the Shane Gillis crowd, whatever, the podcast bro crowd.
The podcast bro crowd has dropped Trump completely on all of this.
Yeah, they're being pretty mean to the president.
I like it. I love it.
So,
and South Park coming out tonight.
Man, I'm upset. I was so happy all day today because I was like, oh, new South Park, this is going to be great. They dropped a teaser trailer like today, I think. The new South Park comes out August 6th. So for whatever reason, there's a 2-week gap. By the way, I know if you didn't see South Park, you're not going to understand this. But at the end of the South Park, there was that. We all thought it was an AI generated video of Trump walking through the desert, and it looked very real. Turns out it wasn't AI. They got an actor that they probably did some deep fake face stuff on. But at the end, what appears to be Trump's teeny tiny little private comes up into the picture and like talks. Turns out that was one of their fingers. That was I don't know if it was Trey or Matt, the creators of South Park. But they released some behind-the-scenes photos of it. Did you see those?
I bet the whole crew stood around and was like, okay, whose fingers look more like penises?
Dude, what's funny, at the time, I told you right away, I was like, how did they get away with doing that? Like, I don't get how they could do that on the air. It's because it was a finger. Like, what, we can't show a finger on the air? And it worked. So, and I think that the lawyers probably told them, like, hey, you need to release the behind the scenes photos because the FCC is breathing down our neck. Like, I'll bet that happened. So
yeah, that's interesting that I thought it was AI as well, but it was actually like a guy in a big bodysuit.
Yeah, so it worked. It looked good. So anyhow, I've got one. I'm done with Epstein now. I do think that she's going to get out of jail. That's my That's my prediction on that. But I think Trump won't have to partner.
Okay.
And I think that she will satisfy the MAGA base one way or another by either clearing Trump or giving a name. I don't know which one, but that's my prediction. Just to upset you, you seem to be in a good mood, and I'd like to get you riled up if I can.
Yeah.
You know who Nancy Mace is, right?
Yeah, she's the anti-trans bathroom human
She is the bathroom monitor.
monitor, yeah.
She's a congresswoman from either North Carolina or South Carolina, and I'm honestly not sure. I used to, there's certain Republicans that I was like, that's a good Republican, and then they slowly like got corrupted, and now I can't believe that I ever had respect for them. I had
Yeah.
respect for her at one point in time. I really did. I liked her.
Why?
I thought she was kind of a Nikki Haley-ish person where I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I want the Republican Party to get back to them. Like, I can tolerate them. They're not evil.
Andy, the Republican Party just keeps disappointing you over and over and over.
They're
again.
like the Dallas Cowboys now.
And,
like,
and now you're starting to see the light that the moderate Democrats are just going to keep
Yes.
disappointing you over and
Yes.
over. And
I'll tell
over.
you later, though, why the far left is still kind of scaring me. But Nancy Mace, she slowly became more and more MAGA, and then she like took it upon herself to be the anti-trans MAGA. Like she really, really likes talking about that. She's jumping in on immigration now. We've talked about how ICE is going after kind of the easy arrest right now. They're going to the farms and the slaughterhouses and the courtrooms and there, I don't know if you saw, there were 3 judges that are basically whistleblowers now, where they said they were told by superiors, hey, dismiss this case when it comes in. Just dismiss it. We'll tell you about it later. And then they would dismiss a case, and like the second they did, the guy'd walk out and get tackled by ICE. So like higher ups in the immigration chain were orchestrating those dismissals that then led, because they can't arrest him if their case is still pending.
So some of the judges are working with ICE to.
So the judges said they were told these 3 were basically blowing the whistle on it. They interviewed with like ABC or NBC over the weekend, but they're trying to anyhow. But we've agreed that this is just it. I don't see how anybody's watching this and cheering. Like when they're going after like Mexicans at the car wash that are working, and all of a sudden they just get tackled, or on construction sites. You see these guys just getting tackled while building houses. Like we need those people for our economy. Like it's bad if we get rid of them.
You know who's not getting arrested? The people who are hiring them, the owners of these companies.
Oh, yeah, no punishment for that. Like, yeah, that's
no punishment.
There's been several Texas legislators, Republicans and Democrats, that have pointed that out. Like, if you really wanted to get rid of, illegal immigrants, like you would go after the people hiring them. And the thing is, they're never going to do that because they need the work. Like, our economy wouldn't function if we got rid of all them. So, like, we have to put on a show and say, hey, look, we're trying to get rid of the illegals. This is up until this year. It was always messaging. We're trying to get rid of the illegals, but not we need these ones for the economy. And they kind of, anyhow, Trump's blowing right past that. But the thing me and you have kind of wondered is like, the MAGA base has to see this and think that it's bad, right? Like they can't be.
No.
Okay, let's let Nancy Mace give you her idea about it. This is from Fox
the
News.
Republicans that I've talked to are like gung ho. They don't.
Yeah.
They think they're all bad and evil.
They're all here illegally, so they need to go. But yeah, this is Nancy Mace from Fox.
New sheriff in town. I have to tell you, one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube these days are the court hearings where illegals are in court and ICE shows up to drag them out of court and deport them. I can think of nothing more American today than keeping our streets safer by getting those violent criminals out of the United States of America, and we all have Donald J. Trump to thank for it.
Take a look at.
She's an evil person. That's all there is.
Really, like, and she conflated there because she said her favorite videos are the ones where people get arrested at their court case. Those people are all trying to come in the right way. They showed up at the border, claimed asylum, got on paper. Now they're going back for hearings. They're trying to become a citizen without sneaking into the country. Like, that's who those people are. And at the end, she said, I can't think of anything more American than getting these violent criminals out of here. And it's like, no. 2 different things. The violent criminals, I don't think anybody minds if you go after the violent criminals. It's the people that are trying to come in the right way and working and helping our economy that some of us have a problem with. So,
yeah, and this is the right just thinks that they're all violent criminals. All Mexicans are violent criminals. This is what they think. Yep. And you know what I saw today? Apparently in Arkansas, there is a You saw this too?
I know. Yeah, I know exactly where this is going. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They're trying to create an all-white community.
Apparently there's already one. Like they're trying to create another one.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's already one in Arkansas. They're trying to create a second one?
It's either in Arkansas or Missouri. I can't remember exactly, but the one that's already there is facing legal problems right now. Like people are trying to sue for
'Cause
whatever.
it's segregation, right? And
Yeah, like you can't not let people buy land in an area because of the color of their skin, basically, is what the lawsuit is.
okay.
So
Well, hopefully there's a Black Panther organization or something that comes in and like tries to buy up all the land around them and like integrate themselves in and like
maybe not the Black
knock up their
Panthers.
women.
Let's go with a little bit nicer, but not like let's hope the NAACP is doing something about this. Not the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers.
What's wrong with the Black Panthers?
There was some stuff in their history that was not exactly peaceful. So I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, I feel like they're fighting fire with fire.
They would have made that argument too. I'd rather not get a race war started, and sending the Black Panthers into a whites only town seems like asking for trouble. That's all I'm saying. Like let's not do that.
It's kind of funny to see. I was watching the video and like they're all kind of like modern day hipsters. Like they're like, these like preppy shirt with like funky hairdos and the girls are wearing like almost bonnets, but apparently the girls don't work and
yeah,
the
it's
guys
a
are
very
supporting
religious
them.
town. Yeah, it's
Oh, okay. It's really I
yeah.
didn't hear about the religious part. Okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah, yeah.
deeply believe in Christ. And I believe I might have them confused with a different group, but I think they're also the people that, oh, I wish it's not Mormonism, but it's close because they think that like there's a lost tribe of Israel that was like really in America and like Jesus and all the main points of the Bible all really happened in like Missouri. There's a group that thinks that. Like I can't go into further detail. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they think
Okay.
that Jesus
People-
and the Israelites were hanging around Missouri back in the day.
It's kind of like the Mormon story.
Yeah, the Mormon story is, like I said, it's very close to the Mormon story. Where,
Wild.
Yeah, I think it's that the Mormons believe that the Native Americans were the lost tribe of Israel, and
Oh, okay.
God turned their skin brown because they did something to disobey His teaching, something along those lines.
Oh.
I'd like to spend an episode talking about the Mormons because they're a lot of fun. Anyhow, so the only other, and I'm sorry, I got one more video and it has nothing to do with anything other than I think it's funny. Trump has been accused of cheating at golf for as long as I've known about him. Rick Riley wrote a whole book, I think, about Trump cheating at golf. But anybody that's ever played with him, like, will say off the record, like, oh yeah, he's clearly cheating the whole time, but you just let him do it because he's Donald Trump. And if you tried to say like, hey, you cheated, he would double down and defend it to the very end, so nobody ever calls him on it.
I mean, it's just indicative of who he is as a person.
Jon Stewart had a whole rant about how like he's had people cheating for him his whole career, blah blah blah, and it was a great Monday night. If you get a chance to watch the Daily Show, it was awesome. But he got caught like red-handed on camera cheating, and his caddy is cheating for him. In this video, there's going to be two caddies that like are walking by as he's getting out of his cart, and one of them's got a blue jacket with a red like vest thing on. Okay. Just watch that guy. He walks by. Trump's ball is clearly either in the bunker or in the deep rough. And the guy like walks by and just casually like tosses a ball behind him into like the shallow rough. And then Trump's right there. Trump sees it and gets out and walks over and it's like, okay. And he starts and just like they've done it a million times. Like this isn't the first time the caddies dropped a ball for him. I'll say that.
How much did it cost the taxpayers to fly Trump's two caddies out to
The fact
this
that
trip for them?
the fact that this trip was clearly for him to go open his new golf course and it's on the taxpayer dime, like somebody the other day said like which one is his side job? Because it's like he's the president and he's also a businessman, but sometimes he feels like he's a businessman and his side job is the presidency. Like that's the one that matters the least.
Yeah, but at this point, like the presidency, we the taxpayers are paying for all of his like business trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How it goes. So, and when his sons are traveling around the world trying to get new business deals in the Middle East and in Vietnam, and they get Secret Service protection everywhere they go. So everywhere they go, it's extra hotel rooms and all that. So, yeah, his family costs more to protect than any other family I think in the history of the presidency, just because they're always traveling. Like all of them are on the move.
For Trump, it's just more money just on golf adventures. Yeah,
it's bad. But anyhow, check this out real quick. Here's Trump. Like I said, watch the caddy in the blue jacket with the red vest. That's the man that drops the ball. But check this out.
Saga.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
stupid.
just the way that it was so like they didn't even have to say it. It's like they as soon as they were walking up there, the caddy knows like, okay, if it's in the rough, I'm gonna put one right here.
Yep.
Trump and him have been doing this, I'm gonna guess, for quite a while. He's probably
Oh,
got
yeah.
he's got his special caddy that he needs to win. And
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it calls into question all those club championships that he has at his own club.
Oh, I don't even think I think he won one club championship in his first term, and he wasn't even in the same state
So
at the same time.
they actually asked him about that, and then basically he had played at the club like 2 or 3 weeks prior, and they just took his score from that, and then you had to basically beat his score from that to win. So yeah, he didn't play on the day of the tournament. He played a couple weeks before. But
Oh, what was his score?
I can't remember. And what's funny
He's
is
just
like
so good at golf. This is Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un type stuff.
I'll say this: there were plenty of videos for a 79-year-old overweight man, he hits the ball pretty good. Like I
Sure.
will say that. He makes some putts here and there. If you play that much golf, you're going to be able to putt. I mean,
Sure.
so he doesn't have a bad swing, but there's like pro golfers that will go golfing with him and they'll be like, yeah, Trump beat me by 2 strokes. And it's like bullshit. Like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, apparently there was a story, and this was back in his first term, but apparently like he went and golfed with Tiger Woods one time. And I guess Tiger Woods was like not aware that you're supposed to let Trump win. And Tiger like just beat the brakes off him. And Trump was like pissed about it. And people were going up to Tiger like, dude, like you're supposed to let him win. And he was like, no. Like, I don't let anybody win. But all the other pro golfers like, oh, sir, great shot. I doubt I can hit it that good. So anyhow.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
you're supposed to let Trump win. What a baby.
Yeah. So
what a child, man.
Anyhow, I'm ready to turn over the controls to you for what I know you got some stuff lined up for tonight. I will point out real quick, tariffs are set to go in effect. We're going to post this on Thursday. Tariffs are set to go into effect on Friday. It looks like they really are going to go into effect. And he has now like 5 frameworks of trade deals. I think he's got, and all of them are being disagreed on. Like Vietnam, I think we said last time he got a deal with Vietnam. Vietnam is now saying, whoa, like all the stuff he's saying was not what we agreed to. Like he said they were going to invest $600 billion in us, and they were like, no, like we said 1 to 2% of that, maybe.
Yeah.
The UK even now he signed one with the European Union, and the 2 major countries in that, France and Germany, are both like, whoa, like we don't agree to this at all. So he's got some frameworks. He has a lot of, and China, they just met with China the other day, and they left without a deal, and now it's up in the air as to whether or not Trump's going to hit him with like 50 to 100% tariffs on the first or not. So we don't know how that's going to go, but happy tariffs. It's happening tomorrow, the day after we post this. So we'll definitely be talking about that next time. Anyhow,
okay,
all yours, buddy.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna end this with my passion, but we're just gonna run through a couple things here. Did you know Thailand and Cambodia are at war?
I did not. You said that to me earlier today, and I had to stop and think about it, and I was like, not heard anything about that.
There's so much going on that they're not even talking about. Like I tried to do a little bit of research. Apparently there was a ceasefire, and Thailand broke the ceasefire, and I think they're still at war. Anyway, that's going on.
So according to Google AI, Thailand and Cambodia are experiencing renewed tensions along their shared border, leading to armed clashes and casualties. The border conflict has a long history centered around disputed territory and ancient temples like I'm not even going to try to say that, some big temple. The recent escalation has resulted in the closure of all land border crossings between the 2 countries. So anyhow, yeah, it's sad that like those countries mean nothing to us. So like even if they really went to full on war, we would be like, they don't have oil or anything over there. So what do we care?
I want to go to Thailand though.
Is that the country? And I'm wondering, I don't think it is. There's some country over there that they've historically like been enemies, but like at the border, there's like basically a show. Thank you. There's like basically a show where like the 2 sides like fancy march with like straight legs and like try to do like fancy. It's like a dance off where like they do something and it's like your turn, and then the other side does some stuff, and it's these countries truly hate each other, but people like there's like stands and like people show up to see the show, and like the 2 sides like taunt each other through like fancy goose stepping. Like I don't know
who could march better.
Yeah, I saw a whole video on it, and it was just like wow. And at first I thought it was like a joke, but it's like no, these countries hate each other. this is how they show it on a daily basis by having.
I kind of want to watch that now. I'm gonna have to.
So I'll find that for next time.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to see that.
Anyhow, sorry to sidetrack us there.
No, you're good. So two Israeli humanitarian organizations are calling what Israel's doing to Palestine a genocide now.
Okay.
So not only are two ex, what is he? What is Netanyahu? He's like the
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
We're
Yeah.
going to say that. That might not be right, but yeah.
Yeah. So two ex-prime ministers and now two Israeli humanitarian organizations are calling it a genocide.
So some super Israeli, pro-Israeli guy was on, I think Piers Morgan, and he was like, well, he's like, these are like the furthest left groups in Israel. This would be like if the American Socialist Party was, disavowing something Trump did. Like, of course they're going to say that. They hate Netanyahu. So I'm just saying that's the Israeli pushback. Is like, well, yeah, this is the far left of Israel. They hate Netanyahu. Of course they're going to say that. So.
But I think it's getting through to some Israelis because there's this one guy that I watch and I guess he gets on one of those apps where you can like talk to people from around the world and like you can just kind of jump into like chat rooms and he's got a YouTube channel. And he's Palestinian, like he's a Palestinian American. And he always gets on and talks to Israeli people,
Okay.
Jews, and like
Watch out how you say that.
he gets a lot of hate. Like he gets tons of hate. Like he'll be like, it'll be like a classroom full of children, like 6 and 7-year-olds, and he'll be like, yeah. And he'll be like, oh, are you guys Jewish? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, I'm Palestinian. And they're like, fuck you. And even the children are just like, no, blah, blah, blah. Well, I saw one today where he was talking to a guy who was probably in his like late 20s, early 30s. And he's like, man, I've been watching you a lot. Is this true? Is this genocide? Is this all true stuff? And he's like, yeah. And he like kind of shows him some stuff and talks about it. And the guy's just like, I can't believe the IDF is doing these things. And so I think it's starting to kind of get through to some of the Israel Jews.
Netanyahu is definitely losing like the battle for like public approval, I guess. I don't know what you'd say, but like he's losing big time. It's in America, it's happening big time. Apparently in Europe, it was happening more in Europe before it really caught hold here. Netanyahu, he went on a podcast with the Nelk Boys. I have no clue who the Nelk Boys are. From what I can gather, they're all 30 years old, but they kind of everybody's like, oh, they're just teenagers. But like they're 30. Like they're just they're just dumb. Like they're not. Yeah. And like they after their interview, they basically said like, yeah, somebody said we just basically interviewed the modern day Hitler, and I think they might be right. Like they just didn't know what they were getting into, and also they were given a list of questions to ask Netanyahu by his people. So. They failed at that big time. Now, I'm pleased to say Netanyahu's son, I didn't know anything about this till the other day, but Netanyahu's son lives in America full time. He lives in Miami. He's apparently like a playboy.
Why isn't he being deported?
He's definitely not going to get deported, but he's like a playboy in Miami. He's like young. He's young and rich and like living the Miami life like you would picture. Gross. I'm picturing Tony Montana, but anyhow, he tweeted the other day and was trying to like take a shot at Joe Rogan and was basically saying that Netanyahu's people tried to set up an interview for Netanyahu to go on Rogan, and Rogan apparently was like, no, like I'm good. Like, and part of me wishes that Rogan would have said, yeah, let's do it, and then grilled him. But I think Netanyahu would have won that. And also, like, if you're Rogan in this case, like, you got to be real careful there because you got to believe a big part of his audience is pro-Israel just because they're pro-Trump. So
yeah, but Rogan doesn't have the political know-how to question Netanyahu like he needs to be questioned. I mean, Netanyahu's never going to go on and talk to somebody who's actually going to grill him.
Apparently, Netanyahu doesn't do any interviews with Israeli press. Like, he will not sit down because they have questions that they want answers to, and like he won't do that. So he tried to come over here and go on Rogan and the Nelk Boys, and I don't think his Nelk Boys appearance like the hard hitting questions they were asking him were like, "Do you prefer McDonald's or Burger King?" And he was like, "Oh, I actually prefer Burger King." And they were like, "What?" And like that was pretty much how the interview. I watched parts of it, and it was
they got raked over the coals by a lot of actual political commentators. Like
it's like
they should have.
What I would have liked is if Rogan would have said, like, yes, I'll do it, but I want to have Dave Smith here with me, or anybody that knows the issue to kind of be the fact checker or whatever.
Dave Smith?
Dave Smith is extremely pro-Palestine. I don't like all of his positions, but he's Jewish, and he has been calling out Israel since before I was doing it. Like
Okay, yeah, that's right. He's the comedian that's not really a comedian that claims he's still a
yeah,
comedian.
he's going to be on Rogan in a couple weeks though, and I'm still looking forward to that. So
Okay, that'll be good.
so anyhow,
On that topic, I think we talked about Alyssa Slotkin earlier. Why were we talking about her?
me and you talked about her off the air. So I've told you before that like if I were to list some Democrats that I like, I don't want them to run for president yet, but I would say that I'm in their lane. Alyssa Slotkin is one that I would have until 2 days ago said like, oh, that's a good representative of kind of my lane of politics right now. She's a very centrist Democrat. She's a former CIA agent that worked in the Middle East on different cases.
And she went on
she went on Breaking Points, and apparently she requested to go on Breaking Points. Like she contacted them, and best interview I've seen in a long time. Even other journalists were reposting parts of it and saying like this is how journalism's supposed to be done because they held her to the fire on some stuff. And Crystal on Breaking Point started off by being like, I don't mean to be rude, but like, why did you want to come on our show? Like, what is the purpose? What are you trying to get out of this? And then kind of told her like, well, I disagree with you on a lot. I'm about to go through them with you. And then did. And like, I'll say this. I thought Alyssa Slotkin handled herself pretty well until they really started pinning her down on basically why are you still supporting Israel was the main thing. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, your staffers are telling us you have to go. So we're going to do one more question. And then at one point it was like, oh, your staffers are saying you really have to go. And they were trying to rescue her. Things were not going well. And they were basically like, hey, time's up.
You know why she's still supporting Israel?
Okay.
Because since she's been in office, she has been awarded $656,000 from APAC.
So, and they asked at one point, they said, is it because you're supported by APAC? And she tried to get all snappy with them. And she goes, well, you should know your facts. I have not been endorsed by APAC and blah, 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 and listed all. APAC does not support me. And then Crystal was like, okay, so how much money have you received from them? And she was like, well, just because they give me money doesn't mean I'm, like they clearly don't, they didn't endorse me. So, and I said, well, they give money to all the candidates because they want everybody on their side. So yeah, she did good on so many fronts, but then it was like, okay, why are you still voting to send more military hardware to Israel? And she really didn't have a good answer on that at all. So
because she's being paid by Israel, she's not only APAC, but apparently there's another one called J Street, and then there's like three others that were listed, and all of them are giving money to her.
Okay, and there's
the $656,000 is only APAC, and the other ones are giving her money too.
J Street. There was a dating app.
And there's two or three more.
There's a dating app. I don't know if it's still out there called like J Date, and it's for Jewish people. And I started thinking about that, and like, could there be like a Christian only dating app or a Jewish?
Yeah.
I guess there can. I don't know why. I feel like that.
There's one for only farmers.
That's true. If we have one exclusive to farmers, then I guess so. Anyhow. Could they take it a step further and be like, this is a whites only dating app or not? Where's the line?
Ooh, I think that's the line. I think it crosses the line.
You can do religion but not race. I feel like that's not.
Yeah, I think that crosses the line.
Okay, I'm just saying it was kind of weird that there was a Jewish only, and now.
Yeah. I guess it's religious.
Okay. Well, anyhow, sorry. Tangent there. So yeah, Alyssa Slotkin. I will say though, I like her and Pete. Let me get this out real quick. Pete did an interview a couple days ago, Pete Buttigieg, and he was talking about Mamdani, and he basically said, like, while I don't agree with all of his policy positions, like, we have a lot to learn from the way he ran his campaign, like the message discipline, getting out there and talking to people on the streets, and like the way that he, spoke directly to the voters. And he said, to me, I really liked Pete's answer. Like, I thought that was a great, and he said, I don't agree with everything, but clearly he won, and we should learn lessons from the way he won. And anyhow, he started.
And I would hold Pete's foot to the fire on that if I was interviewing him and be like, well, what do you not like? What positions do you not like about Mamdani?
The interviewer did not do that. But Pete started getting raked over the coals by the far left. Like, there's times where the far left really upsets me because, like, the Republicans, for all the things I don't like about Trump, like, they get the idea of building a coalition. Like, hey, all these groups might not believe in everything that we all agree on, but like, we need all these groups together to put us over the finish line, like, election wise. Okay. Democrats do this thing where it's like, nope, he's not pure enough. Get him out of here. And it's like, well, no, like, there are people like me that heard Pete's answer and liked it. And I'm probably going to vote for the Democrat against if it's Trump again or JD. But like when I see that crap where like there's some guys that do a YouTube show called The Vanguard, and like they were the first that I saw that like attacked him, and I was like, well, why did they say that? But then I saw more and more of it from all kinds of far left, and it's like, you know what? He didn't say that he's not voting for him. He didn't say he would endorse him. He didn't say anything negative. He just said, I don't agree with everything he's running on, but blah blah blah. Like, you can't tell all those people to F off at this point. Like that bothered me. And there's a part of me that you're always like, why do you still want to be a Republican? And I'll say this, like, I don't want to be a Republican, but I also don't think I want to be a Democrat. I really like being an independent. Like, I really like, I don't want to be part of either party, but like the far left does shit occasionally that makes me not want to vote for the left. I'm still gonna, but in the moment I'm looking at it like, what are we doing here? Like, Pete's clearly on your team. Why are you attacking him?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And like I feel like you're more Democrat than you are Republican at this point. Like you're going to vote Democrat straight down the line, pretty much.
I would still look at every race, but I would bet it would probably go that way. But I can see if there's a good candidate, I will happily vote for either side if there's a good candidate. If there's not,
but that's because I would put you. You say you're independent. I would put you left of the Democrats.
Left of center, not left of the Democrats. Left of center.
Left of center. Left of okay.
Yeah.
Well, and this is what I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately, and there's some other people that have been talking about this, but like if as a country, like we've tried everything, right, to make things great. And when was America the best?
Yeah, people are gonna give different answers, but like that, what MAGA points at is like the 50s. Like that was the golden age of America. You know, like dad went to work all day, mom stayed home and baked a pie. Like
it wasn't great for race relations. Like that wasn't.
No, but what MAGA points at is the golden. What they want to go back to is like the 50s. Leave it to Beaver type stuff.
Right. But that was when like our middle class was growing.
The middle class was thriving in the 50s, yeah.
Right. And there wasn't too much poor. Like the middle class was huge. The wealthy was a small group, and the poor was a small group.
So
and everybody had an opportunity. There was a lot of opportunity, but we also taxed the rich. We taxed them at like a 70%.
The tax rate for the rich was really high back then. Well, real quick, the thing is, like, you kind of mentioned it, like race-wise, things weren't good then. Like, I think the thing is, like, whites were doing very well in that point, and like we didn't give a shit what the blacks or Hispanics were dealing with. Like the whites were doing well, and when MAGA looks back at the like, look how good things were there, and it's like, yeah, if you were white, it was fantastic. If you weren't white, it probably wasn't good. So
yeah, I wonder what the percentage was compared to today, like what, like white versus black and Hispanic then and now. But anyway, so here's what I've been thinking is like, so there's countries out there that like are the happiest countries, right? They have better lives than other countries.
So like the Nordic countries kind of is what I'm
yeah, I would say the Scandinavian model is probably the best out of all of them, right?
Hold on, real quick, just 'cause I Googled it. The top tax bracket in 1955 was 91%. However, it's important to note some nuances. The 91% rate only applied to the portion of income above. So everything you made over $200,000 got taxed at 91%. $400,000 for married couples. So it's kind of like the billionaire tax that Bernie, I think, was saying everything over $1 million or 50 million or whatever it is. But so your first 200,000, you got taxed lower, but everything. And back then in 1955, $200,000 was probably like well more than $1 million in today's dollars is what I'm thinking. So sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Well, and yeah, so the Scandinavian countries are like the happiest and the most productive countries in the world, right? They're good to go. They have free education, free healthcare. They get like 3 months off a year from work. Like they're living a very nice life for the most part. And like, why aren't we trying that? I feel like Bernie's the only one that's like trying to promote what the Scandinavians are doing, but everybody else is just turning it down. We have smart people in the world who could go like, hey, like if we did this, this, and this, and this, we would have a better country. But we just don't do that. Not the Democrats, not the Republicans. They just want to fight about their stupid issues so that they can make more money. And we're all getting screwed over because of that.
So I'll say this. I think that you're right. in the fact that like I think a good part of the country, like I don't know if it's a majority, but like a big part of the country is thinking like you, where they're like, you know what, this isn't working anymore. Let's try something new. Like especially if you're below 30 and you're trying to buy your first home and you're looking at the cost of a new home versus what you're making, like I
Yeah.
think that there is a large now. I'm a scaredy cat on change. I don't like change, and like the whole like let's burn it all down thing. Like I don't it like I'm surviving like this. And
I'm not saying burn it down. I'm saying just
okay,
tweak it to make it better. I'm saying like let's
what
introduce some free healthcare for everybody and see how
so
that works for a couple years. And then maybe let's throw some education in there and see what like a proper or just like rework the education system so people aren't coming out of college with like, $70,000 worth of debt, $200,000 worth of debt. Like that's insane.
yeah. So what I like about Mamdavi is that there's a theory where I'm like, you know what? I want to try this, but I don't want to try it for the whole country. I want there to be a test case somewhere. Like, let's see how this works here. So I
Yeah.
like that thought, but also, and I've been trying to read up on Mamdani and listen to pods about him because I don't know enough about him. But it seems like a lot of the stuff that he's talking about, he has absolutely no power to do. Like, he can't change tax rates. Like, he can change city taxes on certain stuff, but like he unless he gets the governor on board to do this statewide, which it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to. Like a lot of the stuff he's saying, he can't really do. I
Yeah.
There's been times where like Massachusetts, I think it was Massachusetts, like they did basically a version of Medicare for all. Like it was like Romney care, Mitt Romney back in like the late 90s or early 2000s with the governor, and they basically did like a universal health care, and it really worked. Like that's one of those where you should see that and go, hey, look, they did it here and it worked. Let's expand that now. So I like the idea of doing a little trial, a testing period in a state maybe, and then if it works, let's roll it out to the whole country.
Yeah, but this is where the system's broken. It's like, okay, Colorado was kind of the trial for marijuana. Let's try it out. And it worked. Like
And more states are doing it. So I
more and
think
more
that's a
states are
perfect
doing it,
example.
but the entire government, like, why won't they put it up for a vote in the House and the Senate? Like, it
That's
doesn't make any sense why it's like illegal federally.
that's one of those that I'm mad at Biden for because Biden had it like declassified. It's not Schedule 1 anymore. It's Schedule 3 or something like that. But
Hmm.
like, I wish he would have pushed for a vote because I think that that's one of those that would actually pass with 60 votes in the Senate. Anyhow, and on that note of like Colorado with marijuana, like yeah, that's an example of hey, look, we did it, and things didn't get bad, and now more and more states are doing it. I don't remember if it was Oregon or Washington State, but one of them, I think it might have been Oregon, like
Morgan.
decriminalized all drugs, like
Yeah.
everything, and like it didn't go well. And for a long time, people were trying to be like, no, like it's like no, there's people overdosing and dying on the street, like it's. There needs to be some rules. Now,
I would like to look into more of that. Like, because I heard both arguments. Like, it went fine. Like, it's doing okay in Argentina or wherever else they did it. Because they did it there first, and
well,
then Portland did it. Was it Portland or all of Oregon?
I think it might have been all of Oregon, but I think that the problem was basically in Portland, and that's where
Yeah.
like people. I've talked to people that went to Portland, and I don't think they were making it up. Where it's like, yeah, we were walking down the street, and there were people like shooting up heroin, like sitting on like homeless people shooting up heroin and shit, like on the side of the street as I was walking by with my family. Like there needs to be some rules, okay? So like just straight up, but nope, decriminalize, do whatever you want. Like that's
Yeah.
not the answer. Now, if you were to say, hey, marijuana and like there's kind of been a push for even like decriminalization of mushrooms and like I'm all for that. Like there's been some science that like that's helping veterans with PTSD. I've done some psychedelics and I think that the world would be a better place if everybody did psychedelics once in their life.
Yeah.
Being said, should heroin be illegal to do on the public in a public park or on the street corner? No. So but I
Yeah.
like the fact that there was a test case. Like Portland got to be our test case. If it was going well, more states would have done it. Is all I'm gonna. I know you want to look into it more, but it would have spread by now if things were going just fine and dandy.
Probably.
Yeah,
Maybe. I mean, heroin and meth, like, and yeah, I
yeah.
feel like those are like that's just a lot. And like in Colorado, you're not supposed to smoke weed in public.
Like I said, there needs
It's,
to be rules about this, which
yeah.
I like the way that it's been set up. So I'm all for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, heroin's a weird one. Like, yeah.
yeah. There's some of these should be illegal, and they should be illegal for a good reason. So, oh man, speaking of that, real quick. sorry to sidetrack us again. I watched more of Hunter Biden's interview that he did it with like some local guy. I don't know. It's everywhere
Oh,
now. Yeah. But at one point they asked him about like what it's like to do crack cocaine and
oh,
like don't listen to him talk about it because like at the end you're like, man, that sounds kind of fun.
like they
Like,
break it down and they get rid of all the impurities
yeah.
and like, yeah.
He even said he's like I'm afraid to talk about this because I don't want to. What do you call it? Like a euphoric something like where you basically start to remember how good it feels, then you want to do it. And like,
Uh,
yeah, that's my recommendation is if you watch that interview and he starts to talk about it, stop, fast forward, don't
he
listen.
also seemed like he might have been on some kind of upper when he was doing
Yeah, dude,
that.
he needs to stop talking. I told you this the other
Yeah.
day, but like, you know who loves him talking to the media more than anybody else?
Donald Trump.
Donald. If you're a Republican, like, get Hunter out there more and more. Like, how can we
Yeah.
have Hunter do an interview a week? Like, stop talking. Somebody needs to grab Hunter and tell him to shut up right now.
Yeah.
Anyhow, sorry, I sidetracked us. What else you
No,
got
you're
for me?
good. Oh, okay. Where were we? Oh, I was gonna go into have you noticed there's been a lot of floods lately?
So this has been intensifying, I feel like is the right word, for the past decade, maybe more. I mean, I remember 2018 was when we had Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, and that was a
Mhm.
year where like there was just a record amount of hurricanes coming across the Atlantic from Africa, going up through the Gulf, and just hanging out and sitting over like Puerto Rico and Haiti and places like that. And they were saying like, yeah, this is intensifying because of global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it. And it seems like
Right.
it's only gotten worse, but if you're trying to talk to somebody who doesn't believe in climate change, like good luck. Like they're not buying it, man. Like they're
They're just not buying it.
yeah, sorry, they're not.
I
Good
gotta
luck.
look this up. What is hurricane season? It's just started, right? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
we
sure it
just
just
started
started.
it like a week or two ago, I think.
Okay, so hurricane season just started, and yeah, so June 1st through November 30th. Okay, so it's
So
been
we're
going on.
already 2 months in. Yeah, we've only had a couple tropical depressions come across.
Okay, so we
So
haven't had a lot of hurricanes yet,
yeah, we might be good.
um, which is interesting, but we've had a lot of flooding. Texas, like apparently, like Texas was a big one, right? And that was
Man,
big
Texas.
controversy. I don't know what the total death toll was, but it was over
You
200.
know, at one point it was like 130 dead and like 160 still missing, and then
Yeah,
they just stopped talking about it.
yeah,
Like I don't know what the final death toll was. I'm guessing it was 250 to 300, somewhere in that range. So,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then re
Ruidoso, New Mexico has had two floods this year.
yeah, God, I'm trying to think here. The Carolinas,
Yeah, North Carolina, New
which
York, Kansas City had a flood.
I don't know if you saw, but this weekend they're saying that there's going to be parts of the country, like parts that have already been hit once this year with major floods, are going to get it again. There's some, I don't know anything about the weather, but there's some high pressure system coming in from Canada, maybe a low pressure system, whatever, some system moving in from Canada that
Yeah.
like, dude, I've been sitting at like 101 degrees here in Oklahoma and like the feels like temperatures like 107 every day. And then this weekend, dude, my temperatures starting Friday are like 83, 84, 82, a little bit of
Yeah.
rain.
We got it today. We started
So
today.
with all that cool weather though, they're saying like there's going to be some more flash flooding and like probably some areas that have already been hit are going to get hit again. So I hope
Yeah.
not, but get ready.
And it's not just in America, it's all over the world. Like China, South Asia, parts of
Yeah.
Africa are just getting flooded. Just being, yeah, I mean, it's insane. And then we had the earthquake coming up, right?
The earthquake that just
The
happened
earthquake from
yesterday
Russia.
off the coast of Russia. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. So they're saying this is from rising sea levels, is basically what it was. So like, global warming is melting the ice caps, and our rising sea levels are like at 10 feet right now.
Well,
Uh,
and I'll be very clear that I don't know enough about this to be talking about it, but like I guess like the temperature of the ocean is critical in all these storms, and the amount of rain we get, the hurricane strength, like everything. And this year alone, just in the past couple of months, I've seen where like the Mediterranean and like the area like by the equator is record hot. Not just like a degree or two above normal, like
yeah.
10 degrees above normal. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's bad, and apparently that directly factors into all these crazy weather patterns we're seeing. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah, and water across the globe is warming up. Like right here in Colorado, they're saying like there's parts of Colorado where they're like, you don't need a fish license, just go catch the fish and keep them.
because they're
And
gonna die.
in Montana, yeah, because they're gonna die anyway. So in Montana, they've closed down sections of rivers, like a
God,
lot of sections of rivers. I think in Utah and Wyoming and maybe even Arizona, they've shut down parts of rivers or told them just to keep the fish. Don't even put them in there or don't go fishing. So kind of crazy. We also had this earthquake, the biggest one ever. It
Okay.
just seems like everything's just getting bigger and badder.
So I don't know that the earthquake can be factored into like how we're polluting our environment. Maybe it can. I don't know that. The storms, the rain and whatnot, like it seems like it can directly be impacted by climate change. And like
Mhm.
I get so mad because I've tried to like discuss this with Republicans, anti climate change people, and like their argument is like, well, hey, the temperature of the earth is always changing. Like we've been slowly heating for the past 1,000 years or whatever it is, something like that. And it's like, yeah, no, we have. But my point is, in the last 80 years, we've seen a huge spike where like it was going up steady and now it's going right up. And that all coincides with the Industrial Revolution when we started
Yeah.
pumping smoke into the air. And overall, it seems like something we could all agree on is like, let's just say it's not affecting climate change. I think it is, but let's just say it's not. But like overall, wouldn't it be good if we put the as least amount of pollution as we could into the air and water? Like just for basic
Yeah.
health. Like that seems like something we should all agree on, but we don't. Uh, I'll,
Yeah.
I'll bet
I
you're
mean,
heading there, but did you see what the EPA is getting ready to undo?
I might have that pulled up, but go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, the EPA is getting ready to do. I can't remember the name of it, but it's 2009. The Obama administration had the EPA declare that CO2, carbon dioxide, is
Hmm.
considered hazardous or a pollutant, and there is some back and forth with this because like. When me and you exhale that CO2, right? Like
Right.
CO2 is caused by all kinds of different natural things, but it's also coming out of emissions from cars out of the tailpipe and smokestacks and all that. And
And
CO2 is
cows and yeah.
it's one of the things that apparently gets into the atmosphere and really drives climate change, according to scientists. I'm not a scientist. I haven't looked at the data.
Yeah, but all the scientists say this.
But Republicans have been saying for 15 years now, like, what? Carbon dioxide? Like the plants eat carbon dioxide. Like that's what they need. Like we breathe it. Like how can that be bad? It's invisible, it's odorless. Like it's not a pollutant. And their thing now is they're saying because we're wasting all this time focused on carbon dioxide, we should be looking at other real pollutants like, they name some other pollutants. I don't know. I don't remember the names, but that's their argument here. I couldn't find any, I looked because I wanted to see like are there any scientists saying that raised carbon dioxide emissions are not bad? And I couldn't find that anywhere. It's just a matter of nobody's really sure how much the cars and the smokestacks are affecting things compared to there's 8 billion people on Earth that are exhaling. Like, are the cars a very small percentage of the total carbon dioxide? That's the question Republicans are asking. And it doesn't seem like anybody really knows the answer to that.
I think there's got to be science behind it, right?
That's according to everything I looked into, it's hard. Nobody can really put a number on it and say, oh, half of the carbon dioxide emissions are due to this or whatever. We just know that they are causing it to increase. But by
Well,
what?
I've got some numbers a little bit later that I'll tell you,
Okay.
like from another pollutant
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
What I will say real quick, and I tell you, I've been telling you this for a couple of years, but like this is what I hate is because like every administration tries to operate through executive orders in one way or another. The president said it, so it's so. They don't get anything to pass through Congress. The EPA just declared in 2009 that carbon dioxide is a pollutant and therefore needs to be regulated. And because they didn't put that through Congress, now the EPA under Trump can just go, nope, we changed our minds. That's not a rule anymore. And they can totally do that. Now, if in 2009 they had tried to put a bill together and get it through the House and through the Senate, which in 2009 they had a supermajority, so they could have easily done. They could have codified that, and it would be really hard right now for Republicans to go back and undo that. But they didn't do it. They just declared it, and that's a huge problem with how our government's operating right now. Is nobody wants to really vote on any legislation, so they just declare it from one agency or the other. And right now, a lot of the stuff the Trump administration is going through and undoing, like it sucks, but also like they have the right to do it. Like, and even like the Supreme Court on a couple things. There's a Chevron case. I don't have any clue what that has to do with, but everybody was upset about that when it comes to the environment. And the Supreme Court basically ruled, hey, the EPA doesn't have the right to make rules about that. That needs to go through Congress. And I hated the fact that that happened, but I also agreed with the Supreme Court. Like, no, that should have gone through Congress. Like,
Yeah.
I want votes on this shit, and we're not. And the congressmen don't want to vote on it. They would rather the president on so many different issues. They would rather the president just do it so he takes all the blame because they don't want to have to put their name out there, yes or no, on whatever the topic is, and then take heat from half their voters.
Right. Right. Man, yeah. I mean, it's just we know we're just fucking up the planet basically, and we just keep doing it, and we keep changing our laws. America's bad, China's bad. Like, there's some countries that are doing really well, like France and
Yeah.
let's go back to the Scandinavian countries. They're doing really well with this, and they try not to pollute or overfish or air pollution, noise pollution. Light pollution is another thing. I just heard that alligator Alcatraz has light pollution, and it's I mean that
It's keeping the alligators up at night.
yeah, making them more angry.
Okay. Yeah.
You
know why
no, but
alligators?
like birds that migrate, that messes with their, and it messes with alligators, it messes with frogs, it messes with fish, it messes with everything.
Real quick, do you know why alligators are angry?
Because they got them teeth and they ain't got no toothbrush.
I'm so glad you're there with me. Because of their enlarged medulla oblongata. Okay, sorry, I couldn't resist that.
That was good.
Go ahead.
That was good. And then I kind of want to I'm just going to kind of go off a little tangent, but Greater Israel looks like it's going to happen. So do you think this is Jesus returning to Earth?
No, I don't think it's Jesus returning to Earth.
I mean, like
right?
all these storms and like wildfires are going crazy too. I didn't even like pull anything about wildfires because I was just worried about. Greater Israel is happening. Like, do you think Mike Huckabee is correct? This might be the end times here.
I have a couple different points. First of all, Greater Israel. I don't know if you've ever seen the map that they have of what they call Greater Israel, but that ain't happening yet. It's going to take a while for them to pull that off. Now they are expanding, but Greater Israel is like that whole part of the Middle East. Like they'd have to take over. Like the country of Jordan is a country that we're very friendly with. They've always been friendly with us, and like that would be part of Greater Israel. And I don't see them taking over Jordan anytime soon.
How much do you think Netanyahu would have to pay Trump personally to get rid of Jordan?
Man, I don't know. Yeah.
There's a price tag, right? There's a price tag for Trump. There's always a price tag for Trump.
Dude, of all the countries over there, Jordan, like since like the 60s or the 70s, Jordan figured out like, hey, it's best that we don't piss off America. So they've been like our buddy in the Middle East for a while now. And like we let them do some of their weird shit and they do what we tell them to do on certain things. And like it's been a very good relationship. I don't think they're getting Jordan. There is a price, but I don't think that's happening. But as far as Jesus coming back, that whole thing and we've joked about this before, but the fact that we have like several, and I don't want to say a majority, but a lot of elected officials who like are longing for that. Like they can't wait and whatever they can do to make that come quicker. Like they want the rapture to happen. They want to ascend to heaven. Like I don't know if they like my view of
fund a genocide. I think that gives you a ticket straight to hell.
It would make sense. But again, we've always agreed that if you're killing people in the name of God, then that's fine. Yeah, as long as you're killing them in the name of the Lord. So I think those people they're killing are heathens.
People actively trying to create the rapture.
Yeah. As far as I understand it, the rapture means like all life on earth ends and you either go to heaven or hell, or I guess maybe purgatory. Some people could go to. But like I'm not ready for that yet. Like I think that we still have a chance here on this planet called Earth. Like let's give it some more years. Like why are we trying to make the rapture happen now? Like come on, man. Like what are we doing?
Let's fix the Earth and let's make it as beautiful and as calm and as peaceful and as nice and harmonious as we possibly can, because we should.
Good luck.
There's no reason why we have this.
Yep.
I've been preaching peace on Earth for a while now. And I feel like the last person that was preaching that was like JFK.
Now, there's always people preaching it, just nobody's listening. I guarantee you right now, there's a person in every country trying to say, can't we all just get along?
Am I the only one
yeah, you're not the
America
only one. Yeah, it's just that it's unrealistic. Like when it comes to Israel and Palestine, like, can't you guys just get along? No, they can't. Like, I don't know what the solution is. Like, each side hates each other and thinks they should all be dead. Like, how do you get past that with two neighbors? Like, I don't like the way you would get past it is by not putting them together in the first place, like we did back in the the late 1940s.
Yeah.
which totally Britain, France, and America caused this to happen. But like where we're at now, like you can't go back and undo the past. So like where we're at now, like how do you fit? Like there's no scenario, and I hate to be a dick about this, but like there's no scenario where the people of Palestine and the people of Israel live peacefully side by side. I don't know how,
No
unless
scenario?
you put
Zero
it, you
scenario.
the scenario would be you put a demilitarized zone, kind of like dividing Korea right now, and you stack it full of UN troops.
Okay.
So, but each side would
Right.
have to give up some land to make that happen. So I don't know. I'm really pessimistic. Like I clearly don't like what's going on in the Gaza Strip right now. I don't like what's going on in the West Bank.
Yeah.
The
Why
West
can't
Bank,
they just get along? Why can't these people just get along? This is the whole problem.
yeah, the West Bank's not getting the attention it deserves because what's happening in the West Bank is equally bad, but it's not, kids aren't being starved, so we're not paying attention to that. We're paying attention to Gaza.
What's happening in the West Bank?
There's been all kinds of crime where it's Israeli, they call them settlers in that area, but the settlers are basically attacking and killing the residents of the West Bank, the Palestinians. And I watched an interview with it was one of Netanyahu's like the people right underneath him, and he was saying if it's a settler crime against a Palestinian, then that's something for the police to handle. That's up to them. We're not going to get involved. But if it's a Palestinian crime against a settler, that's terrorism, and that's for the army to handle. And it's like, whoa, that's a pretty big distinction right there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we got anyhow. So that's how they described it, and they were dead serious about it. But anyhow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, crazy.
Yep.
Crazy town. One thing that Trump's doing right now is they're rolling back protection and allowing industrial fishing in the Northwestern Hawaiian Islands, which is going to. I'm gonna pull up a picture here. This is just from. All these are from Instagram. I've been like collecting Instagram posts about all the screwed up stuff that's going on in the world here. So it's just a photo, but yeah, it's home to endangered monk seals, green sea turtles, and some of the healthiest coral reefs left on the planet. I mean, Hawaii is like so far out there that like there's all this aquatic life out there that's been protected for so long, and now he's opening this up to industrial fishing.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
I mean, it's crazy. Like we want to protect sea turtles.
So in not all countries, but most major countries that have like the border an ocean, they have like wildlife sanctuaries basically in the ocean. There's certain parts of the ocean that are off limits to fishing to keep it pure and whatnot. And then the problem is like they've been talking about the overfishing, like everybody's overfishing. Japan and China, I think, are very big violators of that.
Yeah, it's wild. They're dragging the sea floors now,
yeah, but
and
like
destroying the ocean bottoms.
Well, and we've hit a point now where we've overfished all the areas we're allowed to fish in. So like all that's left is those sanctuaries where we're not supposed to be doing it. So open those up. The people still need to eat, docs. That's what it comes down to. The people still need to eat.
Is that what it is?
I guess. I mean,
does that make sense?
Unless you want to start growing what is that, Beyond Meat or whatever, the shit they grow in a lab.
Well, we can figure something out. We can figure something out to feed everybody on Earth. I mean, we waste so much food. Dude, I was thinking about this. Me and my dad, like every time he comes in town, we go to the casino and we get the crab leg buffet, right?
Okay.
And it opens at 5 o'clock, and I think it closes at like 10 o'clock.
Hold on, how much is a crab leg buffet?
$50.
Okay, that's not bad. I'll come out there just for that. Next time I visit you, we're going.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
I don't want to gamble. I just want the crab leg buffet.
Crab leg buffet is amazing.
I imagine.
But there's a line outside the buffet for the entire time that it's open, basically. And people are just coming in, and I don't know how much crab they go through, but it must be tons of crab every day.
Okay.
And there's two of them in Black Hawk that do a crab leg buffet. And then you got to think of Vegas. Vegas has who knows how many crab leg buffets. And then you go to like, every other casino town across America has crab leg buffets. And then all the other crab we're eating. Like, how much crab are we pulling out of the ocean?
A shitload. Yeah, I mean a lot.
Is there enough?
No,
There can't be enough.
Eventually, we're gonna eat them all. Real quick, did you see where? Oh, and hold on, I'll say this. Just because I watch those stupid shows like The Deadliest Catch and all that, like they're supposed to be like you can't harvest them until they're a certain size, so you throw back the young ones. So then it's the whole like me and you fish, And it's the whole, what is it? Throw it back so they can grow and make more or whatever. There's something we always
Right.
say. I can't remember how it
Right.
goes. Anyhow, but real quick on you mentioned Vegas. I've been seeing this over the past week or two, but like Vegas is always like the first indicator that like a recession or troubles in the economy are coming. And apparently Vegas is dead right now, like
Oh,
dead.
really?
Yeah, like, and that's one of those where if you start to look around and you go, hey, maybe we should be a little smarter with our money just in case. Like the first thing you eliminate is those trips you don't need to take. And apparently,
Gambling.
and I've only been seeing it for the past 2 weeks, but then what I was reading is apparently Vegas has been like it's been slower than normal for like the past 4 or 5 months, but then in the past like month, it's gotten where it's hurting now. Like people are getting laid off from casinos and stuff because there's nobody going to them. So anyhow, you mentioned Vegas, I had to say that.
Yeah, wow. Oh, man. So another thing Trump's doing, he's reversing course on renewable energies. I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah, the way they did it is any project that doesn't break ground before the end of like 2026, then they lose all the subsidies.
Okay. I pulled a quick video on this too.
I have never seen a wind farm in China.
Au contraire, Mr. President. Here's a map of China's wind farms. In fact, China is installing both wind and solar energy at a cracking pace. China is also electrifying its economy faster than Europe and America. Now, the reason President Trump was disparaging windmills in his Independence Day address is that the One Big Beautiful Bill he had just signed into law that day turns America away from renewable energy and back towards fossil fuels. The bill eliminates all of Joe Biden's tax credits for electric vehicles, solar panels and heat pumps, and instead gives tax credits to coal and boosts oil and gas production on public lands. As New York Times columnist Tom Friedman observed last week, it will make China great again. China now totally dominates the global manufacture of renewable energy products, of solar, of batteries and wind. And because of the gigantic scale, wind and solar have become by far the cheapest forms of energy. I had been getting pessimistic about America's withdrawal from the Paris Agreement and from the global effort to control greenhouse gas emissions. I thought it meant that the 30-year project to prevent global warming would fail completely because other countries would follow the US. And whatever miseries the scientists were predicting for us from climate change would definitely happen. But now I'm not so sure. It could be China to the rescue, with America stuck in a dirty, expensive past.
So basically, they're saying that China is gonna like rescue America
So
with their energy at some
about
point.
about 10 years ago, you could definitely people that didn't like the fact that we were in the Paris climate agreement would point at China and say, "Hey, how come we have to follow these rules and China doesn't have to?" And at the time, China was a developing nation, so they had a higher threshold basically of pollution they could do. But like over the past 5 or 6 years, like China is like decreasing their pollution at a major rate. I don't remember what it is exactly, but they're getting better and better and they're polluting less and less. Whereas we're now starting to turn and go the other way. Also,
Yeah, all these countries are doing great things like and China's like planting forests and like taking like some of the land where they've been polluting for a long time and they're planting trees. Africa's doing the same. I just watched this thing where Africa's taking the Sahara Desert keeps like creeping down into the country and like creating famine and they saw this problem that's going to happen over the next 20 years or 30 years or whatever, and now they're building they're just planting rows and rows of trees across where they don't want the Sahara Desert to come into.
And it's working?
It's working so far.
Okay.
So far it's working.
Yeah.
But there's also apparently Africa is like splitting. And did you see that big crack that
I saw something about that. I didn't look into it enough, but yeah.
Yeah, I need to look into that more, but it's kind of interesting how apparently it's going to be a whole other continent.
Yeah, it's going to split into two basically.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
So that'll take hundreds of years, but it'll happen. But and even real quick, I wanted to mention this earlier. We're talking about the EPA, but people say like, oh, and like, what about the ozone? I thought there was a hole in the ozone, and it was gonna blah blah blah. What happened to that? It's like no, and I did a little bit of research on this, but there was something called the Montreal Protocol that was signed by all these nations, including us, in 1987. And as soon as that protocol got put into place, where we started polluting less and less, and it was certain chlorofluorocarbons or something. I don't know. ODS is and CFS. But as soon as we pretty much outlawed those, we've been watching the ozone layer heal itself, like ever since we did that. So I know, like there was a problem with the hole in the ozone layer. We enacted some laws, and now it's been getting better and better. And even what was it in 2023? They said that the ozone layer is continuing to heal, with the Arctic ozone hole showing signs of recovery. That was the one they thought would probably never recover, and it's actually getting smaller now. So like some of these rules about the environment like actually cause change that we can see, like the planet's healing.
Right.
You know, it gets upsetting.
It is very upsetting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a yeah. I found another video that I really liked. I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
It's
Have you ever driven through Yellowstone? And when you paid, the fee used to be $20 and now it's more. You paid more for your family to drive through Yellowstone Park than the entire hard rock mining industry has paid. The entire industry, which are a lot of foreign corporations. You paid more than that $20, $30, $40, $50 than that entire industry has paid for pulling gold, silver, copper out of U.S. owned soil over the last 150 years.
How is that even possible? Like,
Right.
yeah,
That's what you're after, right?
right. Yeah.
They don't pay. They pay a 0% royalty. I'm not kidding. People think they think I'm kidding when I say all those gold mines, gold's at an all-time high. You see them on BLM land, and they don't pay a penny, but the family going through Yellowstone pays $40 or
Right.
whatever it is. We're talking the billions of. They should be funding for paying a royalty, and what they should be funding to pay for abandoned mines and cleanups. It's in the billions.
Yeah, and I don't get, like, there's a lot of times where it's like, well, they don't have to pay, and then I can make the argument like, oh, well, but the government's benefiting from that because blah 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 blah. Like, I don't get that at all. Like, how would we be like, if there's gold or any kind of rare earth minerals in those mountains
on our land?
Yeah, shouldn't the proceeds from selling that be going to the American debt or something? You know, I mean,
Well, Alaska has a good thing with the oil company. So everybody in Alaska gets a stipend.
okay,
Every year they get, and I think it's like anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000,
heck
depending
yeah.
on how much oil, how much oil companies make out of the Alaskan oil, right?
It doesn't make. I'm sorry, I'm
And
trying
Colorado
to go.
has one too. It's called I believe, so the Tabor. I could be wrong. The Tabor is something like that, but it's like whatever's left over is given to us. So like last year we got like $800 or something, and that's for every Coloradan. Yeah, so it's the Taxpayers Bill of Rights amendment in Colorado, also type of small drum. Interesting. So yeah, I think it's just just what's left over in the government every year.
Don't make no sense. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I'm sure you could, if you're the government, you could find a company and say, "Hey, we want you to go in and get all the gold out of this national park or whatever, and like you guys get to keep blank percentage of it for your work, and we get the remaining percentage that goes towards America in one way or another." But in a lot of these cases, it seems like we're not doing that. Where it's like, no, like we just gave them the rights to mine this area, and then they get to keep the profit. Like,
yeah,
me and you have to be missing something. Like maybe we sold this company, like they're paying the government a lease to do it, or some. There's got to be something.
Yeah, so they have to buy the lease.
Okay.
From the government, and they have to pay, but they pay pennies for those leases. It's not.
It's got to be profitable. I mean, they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't profitable.
Yeah, it's not. It's not enough. It's not enough for what they do to our land. Like they just destroy it. Like that land could be profitable for, your children's children, right? And over those many years, they're going to make who knows how many more billions of dollars than they're going to make off of some gold miner from China coming over and digging out all our gold and shipping it back to China or selling it back to us. And they're selling it back to us, basically, right?
That's the other thing.
Fucking crazy.
I don't like that it's foreign companies. And like in Oklahoma here, we've got a big deal. The governor's been under fire for this, but like we're letting, I guess, China or Chinese citizens buy up like a bunch of our farmland. Like Chinese citizens own more farmland in Oklahoma than you would imagine. Like it's ridiculous.
Oh, it's insane.
And it's like, hold on, wait, how do they get to do that? So I don't know.
It's bad. It's really bad. And I mean, man, it is crazy. And I mean, we're just destroying this world. Like it's
Yeah.
it's very discouraging.
It's you know what our America's motto on Earth is?
What?
YOLO. Just fuck it. Fuck it. YOLO.
YOLO.
Just have
Yeah,
fun.
pretty much.
That's what we're doing.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man. Have you seen what they're doing in Florida?
Besides alligator Alcatraz?
Besides alligator Alcatraz, apparently they are just removing all protections from all wildlife. Here, check out this video.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, Florida's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently the wildlife commission in Florida is anti-wildlife.
That's sounds about right. Do you know who the comedian Mark Maron is?
Oh yeah, totally.
So he had a special that was probably in 2018 or 19, and he did a little talking about Trump. And he was talking about yeah, he's like news stories that used to be unbelievable, like are totally believable now. And his example was like, hey, did you hear they're allowing hunting at the zoos now? And it's like, really? Well, I guess that sounds about right. like yeah, it's what
He's
we're
good,
doing.
man, and he's got a new special. He's actually
I'll have to watch that.
Terry Gross just interviewed him, and I was listening to him, and his new special comes out, I think, August 1st.
Okay, I like Maron's comedy. He's quite comical, so
He's very good.
good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Florida, like there's a part of me that wants to be like, oh my God, really? But like the other part of me is like, no, that totally makes sense. Like I'm not shocked in the slightest about that.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever heard of Earth Overshoot Day?
Earth Overshoot Day. I'm scared. That sounds scary.
Earth
What's
Overshoot Day.
what's going on with that?
Here, let me show you.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you should be. So this was on, I think it was July 24th. Earth Overshoot Day, which means we've used up nature's budget for the year. So about halfway through the year, we've already used up our budget.
A budget of what? Explain.
As much as Earth can regenerate itself, right? Let's see,
Okay.
what does it say? It says today, July 24th, marks Earth Overshoot, the day that humanity demand for ecological resources exceeds the resources that Earth can regenerate within 1 year. This means we need 1.8 Earths to meet our demands.
So, and that's scary on a variety of reasons, but like I don't like the concept of like, oh, they're making meat in a lab now. Like I don't like that, but like the bottom line is our population is so big that like we're gonna overfish the oceans and all that stuff. Like we almost have to start creating food some way. And I don't want to be eating lab grown food at all, but like also unless we want to go the Thanos route and like snap and half of humanity fucking dies, like that's really all we have left.
No, there's a way to do it. We just have to we just have to all come together and yeah, some of it we do need some factory farming, right? Which is bad and it's not great. And you could say we pump them with too much hormones and we overfeed them and it's not really good and humane for the animals. But and we need some of that, but we also just need to regenerate. Like I think Americans throw away 1/3 of our food.
Okay, makes sense.
That's
I know
how much waste we have.
I get so mad in our house because when my wife I go grocery shopping for like a day or two's worth of food at a time. My wife goes for like a week at a time, and whenever she goes, we end up throwing away a third of what she buys. And I'm just like, this is money in the trash. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's money, it's waste, it's all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's okay. This is kind of cool because it shows over
How
the years. Yeah,
that's sad. Yeah.
So it started in 1971 was when we really we went 2 days into it, right? We had 2 days, and then since then, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And now
Yeah.
we're about 50. Like, how much longer can the Earth sustain? us.
The only thing is, it's not getting, based off what I'm looking at here, it's not getting exponentially worse. It's not like, oh my God, in the last 10 years, it's gone to 3. It seems like the pace that we're on is about the same. So in the first 15 years, it was month and 3 weeks. And then in the 15 years after that, it was actually, that was the biggest point. 1985 to 2000 was like
a
big jump. And then,
well, that's when we started like 2000 was about when we started like really taking care of the earth a little bit better, a little bit maybe.
So maybe that's when it started to, because then it was only about a month and a week in 15 years. And then in the last 10 years, it's been about, oh shit, never mind. In the past 10 years, it's only been 10 days roughly. So we've gotten better in the past 10 years. That's the only good thing, is that the pace that we're doing this is slowing down slightly.
Okay. Yeah, but this is 11 days. 11 days in 10 years. This is 15 years between between 2000 and 2015.
But that was, let me see,
August, September. So that's, so
a month and 12 days.
Maybe it's better. Maybe we're doing it.
That's what that kind of stuff. Like I hate to think into the future like that, but I also saw something the other day where like the headline was like, scientists are baffled because the Earth seems to be spinning faster than normal. And like when I see shit like that, like that causes me to not sleep at night, because it's like, how do we slow down the Earth? Like if it starts spinning too fast, humanity's gonna end. Like what are we doing here?
Well, I told you they got me the other day because they were talking about how all the wildlife was leaving Yellowstone.
Yeah, that turned out to not be true.
Giant, like, what is it? A giant earthquake that's due for an eruption. It erupts like every 100,000 years or something, and it's about due for an eruption. And like, I saw like 3 or 4 different posts about Yellowstone erupting, and got me so worried, dude. I was freaking out. And then I saw like these AI generated feeds of like 10 or 12 bears, and I was like, oh, I need to look into this. What's going on? And I was like, yeah, bears don't travel in packs like that, And so I looked into it. I was like, okay, this is just BS.
Yeah.
It's a big hoax.
Our buddy Clint, one time, he made a comment about Yellowstone being like a super volcano, and I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, huh? And he was like, oh yeah. He's like, when that one day blows, it's going to take out like most of America. And he said it so calmly, and like I've remembered that ever since he told me that. I'm just like, oh my God, like I hope that doesn't happen soon. Jesus.
Right.
And luckily, with volcanoes erupting, they do seem to have like some lead time on that. Like if it gets ready to blow, we'll see signs based off however they're studying it. Like earthquakes, you can't see coming. Earthquakes scare me the most. The volcanoes, like I don't know what we're gonna do. Like if we find out it's about to erupt, like all of America can't leave and go somewhere else. So
no, we're screwed. We're dead. It's like if like nuclear war happens, we're all just dead. It's like you want to just be on top of the volcano as it explodes.
Yeah,
instantaneous like evaporation. Like that would be your best bet.
Well, and that's what with the tsunami that hit Hawaii and all those places yesterday. I was looking online, and they were showing like traffic cams of just stopped traffic on every road of people trying to get to higher ground. Mm-hmm. And like I was thinking about it, and like they had hours till it was going to hit, so I'm sure that it was okay. But like, oh my God, imagine if like you find out like, oh, this whatever it is about to hit, and you're trying to get to safety and just gridlock. Like the highway is stopped, it's not moving. Like that would be so frustrating. Oh my God, yeah.
Could you imagine?
Oh, I would be Anyhow,
what we're doing to our planet is frustrating. It's kind of like being locked in gridlock.
It's like, what are we doing?
I'm looking like, let's go, people. Let's go. Let's do something about this.
And real quick, we've said this before, but like Republicans are generally like, they're like the conservationists. They're the ones that like to go out and hunting, and they're outdoorsmen. And like, that's what always gets me is it's like, wouldn't it behoove them to like keep our rivers and streams clean for fishing and keep our outdoors good for animal? Like they seem to like they like to go hunting and stuff, which I don't have a problem with. I like to go hunting myself, but like that doesn't make sense to me that they're also the ones that are like, screw the environment. Like what?
Yeah.
Like that? How does that jive?
Oh, and whenever they were trying to sell off all the public lands in Utah, which they're trying to do again,
I saw that.
I saw all these hunters like Cam Haynes, who are Republicans, who vote Republican. They went hardcore at what's his stupid face?
Mike Lee.
Mike Lee. Yeah, they went right at him, and we got it done. I'm like really happy that we could. kind of fend it off for a little bit at least.
What sucks though is it was like some influencers that are Republicans were doing that, but like people me and you know that are Republican voters that also use the outdoors all the time. We're like, yeah, I don't care about that, and it's like, what do you just like?
Yeah,
You don't
it
have
doesn't
you don't
make
have
any
to
sense.
you don't have to agree with everything that your party says. It's okay to say like, yeah, I'm still going to vote Republican, but I'm not for this selling public land thing. But for some reason, people think no, like if you're on the right, you have to agree with everything they do, and if you're on the left, you have to agree with everything they do, and that's not how it's supposed to work.
Well, it's lazy. People want to be lazy.
Yeah.
And if you want to be lazy and you don't want to think for yourself and you don't want to actually like go into each issue and go, well, I do like using this part of public land and that's kind of my favorite place to go swimming and to put in my kayak. Like I'm gonna, I hope they don't sell that land. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. On a brighter note, did you know the world has lost 75% of insect biomass in the last 30 years?
That's probably not good, right? Aren't insects like crucial to certain things? I don't know how, but I know that insects are good. Like my the guy that does my lawn stuff at one point was like, yeah, your yard is really healthy. You have a lot of insects. And I was like, oh shit, like I want them dead. And he was like, no, like the insects are good for your lawn, whatever. I didn't take the time to learn about it, but
No, yeah, you need insects. And that's part of the thing is like everybody wants their yard to be free of insects. Like, oh no, there's bees in my yard. No, you want those bees. The bees are good. Like, don't put insecticide down.
they're
Like, you
pollinating.
want the bees. And like, we grew up in, Texas, let's see, like suburban Texas, where everybody's yard has to be perfectly nice and manicured. No bugs, no wildflowers, no weeds, like Kentucky bluegrass straight through, or no, what do we use?
St. Augustine.
St.
Yeah.
Augustine. Everybody loves St. Augustine.
And if you couldn't afford St. Augustine, you went with Bermuda. But
Bermuda.
if you were trying to show off, you had St. Augustine.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, but that's so bad for our environment. Like if we took that and instead of like, and even just like as a lazy person, like just putting wildflowers down and let it grow, and we would have so many more bugs, so many more insects, so many like we would probably start reversing the age of what was it called that we just talked about the Earth's regeneration
Yeah.
period. We'd probably start reversing that. Or if you wanted to like not be lazy, you could put a little garden in and start growing some crops for yourself, and then we'd really start reversing the age of like how
Yeah.
much we're using out of the Earth's land, right? But yeah, no insects means no polluters, no birds, and no food.
No pollinators, I think you meant to say.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
pollinators.
no polluters.
No
them
polluters.
insects be polluting, man.
Dude, so polluting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's been frustrating to me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for your frustration.
Yes. Well, what else I got here? I'm just going deep into the environment right now. Oh yeah. Have you heard of these nodules?
Nodules. I've heard that word. I don't know what context.
So apparently there are these nodules like deep down in the ocean. And they contain valuable metals, magnesium, copper, nickel, cobalt. And they take millions of years to form.
Okay.
And rich people want them now.
Of course.
The rich people want to mine at the bottom of the ocean that takes millions of years. Things that take millions of years to form.
I'm again not shocked by that at all.
It's so wild. And like these countries keep having like there's I forget which country it was, but they just like a few weeks ago they had to put it to a vote.
Like, did they vote to allow them to do it?
I don't know. There's so much to it that I didn't have enough time to like figure out exactly what happened.
Okay.
There's I want the ocean nodules now.
There's a company right now and they were saying that they wanted to try to team up with Elon Musk and SpaceX because he has the rockets to do it. But like the next time a meteor or asteroid goes flying, you know those close calls that happen every so often, where it's like, man, that was only so many 100 miles from hitting Earth. Like they want to like ride a rocket out to it, and then like apparently those asteroids and meteors are like made out of rare earth minerals. Like they're made out of things that are very valuable to us. And they basically want to like jump on one as it passes by and mine it and then fly the ship back. And
Okay, I'm fine with that. Like
yeah,
space is fine. Like let's leave the Earth healthy and intact, and yeah, the let's go after the asteroids. But yeah, I don't have a picture of these nodules. I had one, but forgot.
yeah. Well,
Anyway,
I'll bet if anybody wants to do them in America's waters, I guarantee you we will let them do it for the highest bid.
yeah, Trump probably wants one. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
give me one. You can do it. I just want one of the nodules.
Yeah. He's just going to take his royalty payment. He's going to make you bribe him to do it.
Speaking of, did he ever give back the trophy, the FIFA trophy?
No, he never. And he took something else. I can't remember what it was because he took the trophy, but he also took another thing from the gold cup or whatever it was. Yeah, he's a character.
He's definitely a character. All right, here's where what I was talking about earlier. We were talking about the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Yeah, carbon dioxide. The thing the EPA is now not labeling a pollutant.
Right. So, here's a little information. And I'll share this with you. It's not. So, bottom trawling is responsible for releasing up to 370 million metric tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year.
Is bottom trawling in the ocean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of carbon dioxide trapped on the ocean floor?
That's my guess. Yes.
Okay.
So not only is it like it's scooping up all the fish and destroying the wildlife habitats. So if there's any, plankton or, anything growing at the bottom, it's just scooping it all up, destroying it. They're catching fish and species that they're not allowed to catch. Once they get pulled up into the net, they're already dead. So they just throw them over the side of the boat. Not only that, but it's also releasing 370 million metric tons of carbon dioxide into our atmosphere every year,
Yeah.
which I saw a number and it is seawater it makes the seawater more acidic. So it's just not good for human health, marine health, anything like that. But I saw one story. It was more than all of like China or the world's manufacturing pollutants or something like that. Carbon dioxide emissions.
So real quick, that's at 370 million metric tons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was wondering what percentage of all CO2 released into the atmosphere that was. I can't do the math on it, but if you had to take a guess, how many metric tons of CO2 were emitted last year? And this is an estimate. I don't know how they can exactly figure it out, but what would you guess per year? What are we?
7 trillion.
It's much more than that.
Oh, 100 trillion.
41 point. Sorry, you said trillion. My bad. You overshot it. 41.6 billion metric tons in 2024.
41 billion.
An increase from 40.6 billion in 2023. So it went up exactly 1 billion between 2023 and 2024.
Okay. Let's see, what releases the most carbon dioxide?
In the 1960s, emissions were around 11 billion tons per year, and by the end of the 20th century, they had surpassed 35 billion. So in 40 years, we went from 11 billion to 35 billion. And that's one of those, like we were talking about earlier, where it's like, well, we don't know how much, like, like cars and smokestacks are affecting climate change versus just people. But I got to believe it's a lot.
Well, no, we know. I mean, here, burning of fossil fuels is the most. That's the most. They know exactly how much is coming out from the ocean.
Okay,
when they
don't know
trawl,
how
right?
they don't know how that's really affecting climate change, though. That's their argument. Is like, yeah, that's their argument. Is like, well, like the climate's already warming even without that. So like, how much more is it warming because of that? And because nobody can put a number on that, that's what they're basically hanging their hat on.
Somebody can put a number on. We have to do some research.
Yeah, well, that's I today I went through and was looking at EPA stuff, and that was what I kept seeing is, well, we really don't know how much it's affecting. And that's what all the arguments pretty much are.
You know what's funny? Even the Pope is talking about the climate these days.
Okay.
So Pope Leo, he slams greed fueled destruction of nature in new mass.
So we hold on real quick. We had a woke pope before this, and everybody was like, "Oh, thank God, this guy's not going to be woke." And it turns out he's just as woke as the previous pope. So, yeah.
The thing is like you talk to some of these Catholics and they're like, well, I just don't really like this Pope. And it's like, you can't like, yeah, I don't think the Pope is right about whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, and you're just like, what are you talking about? You're Catholic. Like, you're supposed to go along with the Pope. Like, he's telling you to love. Oh, the last Pope was pro gay, LGBTQ, right?
He wasn't even pro gay. He was just, hey, everybody love everybody. That was his thing. Like,
right, but he specifically said it about gay couples, right?
yeah, he said that he thought that gay couples not being allowed to be married in the Catholic Church was wrong or something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah. And then I remember hearing like a Catholic saying, "Yeah, well, I don't really like that Pope. Like, I don't agree with the Pope." And it's just like,
Yeah.
this is your doctrine. Like, get in line, bro. But then when Trump says anything, they're just like, "Yes, sir."
Dude, what's so far twice, once in Trump's first term, and then remember at the beginning of this term when he went and visited the Pope and JD killed the first Pope, and there was, remember, didn't that happen in this term where JD went to visit the Pope and he died like 2 days later?
Yeah.
But like we've had a couple times where like there's kind of been a showdown of the Pope and Trump and what side are people going to be on? And dude, it's not even close. It's like when Elon and Trump broke up and it was like, who's going to win this one? Trump by a mile. Like Trump wins over the Pope every time.
It's kind of wild, right?
It is. He's definitely more trusted by his base than the Pope. I will say that.
Yeah. So apparently they're calling him the Green Pope, the first Green Pope.
Yeah.
Which
Hey,
I like.
While we're talking about Catholics real quick, Washington State, I believe it was, tried to put through a state law that basically would have made it really hard for Catholic churches to hide pedophiles in the cloth. Like the priests that are, they always try to just move them and not report stuff. And the law was basically they had to report abuse. Like they couldn't not report it. And the White House is like actively lobbying against that bill. Like they do not want child abuse to have to be reported. It's one of those where when you read it, it's like, how can they make that argument in good faith? But they're making it. And yeah.
Do you think maybe Donald Trump has something to do with that?
No, and what it is they're saying that it's against Catholics' religious liberties is what they're trying to say.
But Donald Trump's not Catholic.
He's not, but they're just in general they're against.
Why would the administration take on that cause?
Because the religious right is a key part of their voting block, and they're trying to keep them happy. And if the church is saying, "Hey, you need to help us with this," they're doing it to keep their voting block.
The church is saying that?
I'll bet money the church went to them and said, "Hey, can you please help?" The church doesn't want to do it. And what the church is saying, because it also would apply to confessions. If somebody came into a confessional and said, like, yeah, I've been abusing an 8-year-old boy or whatever it is, like the church has a duty to report that to the police now. And they're trying to say, no, like anything that's, in confession, that has to stay between the priest and the person confessing.
Ooh, could you imagine being a priest and somebody coming in and telling you that? Like,
yeah,
I would jump through that little screen and like strangle you.
I haven't been in confession in 20 years at least, but I was always very dishonest in confession. Like, it's like, what did you do wrong this week? And I'd always make up some shit that was kind of bad, but kind of not bad.
Right.
I never told him the things I really did bad.
Father Johnson? Was that the last
one? Father Johnson was most likely drunk. Me and you grew up in a Catholic church where our priest was constantly across the street at the Mexican bar and hammered. Our families, I don't know if about yours, but we would go in there randomly, and it was every time we went in there, it was like, oh, Father Johnson's at the bar smoking a cigarette and drinking, and like my family would go up and talk to him, and he was clearly drunk, and it was just if Father Johnson wasn't giving a sermon, he was at Cafe Acapulco getting hammered. Like that's
Cafe Acapulco. I remember
that was the name of it.
I feel like we went and found him one time and like had a beer with him.
I didn't. Maybe you did, but I didn't.
Maybe it was Shag.
I don't know.
But yeah, maybe I had a fake ID. I don't know.
Growing up Catholic was interesting. There's our priest drunk again. So he came to Christmas parties. One of our friends, their family would have like a yearly Christmas party, and Father Johnson was there, drunk. I remember one year he had a shirt on that said, "Treat me no differently than you would treat the Pope." and just walking around drinking and smoking the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Franny used to like him and her would bash heads all the
Oh
time.
yeah. No, that's it. Growing up Catholic was interesting because both me and you, we didn't know that it was weird. Like at the time, I thought that was all. I thought everybody was Catholic. I think for a good part of my life, I just assumed that we were all Catholic. And then, like as I got older, I started talking to people that were like, "Oh, you're Catholic," and I was like, "Yeah, what's wrong with that?" And then you start to learn about the Catholic Church, and it's like, "Oh, I don't know if I told you this. I'm sorry to go on a religious rant here, but I was talking to a guy that's actually he's a preacher of some sort. I don't know what his denomination is, but when I mentioned I was Catholic, he was like, "Oh, so you're not Christian?" And I was like, "Huh?" And he was like, "Yeah, you're Catholic. You're not Christian." And I was like, "No, no, no. Catholic is Christian." And then I called my mom, and I knew immediately that my mom had heard this before because as soon as I started to say it, she got pissed. She was like, "Oh, don't let him tell you that, blah, blah, blah." And she got like real mad about it. But I was just confused. I was like, my whole life, I thought I was a Christian. But now it turns out that being Catholic is not Christian, according to
the
some.
whole thing about Christianity is you believe in Jesus.
So,
That's
but Catholics,
that's the only thing that makes you Christian.
so the difference is Catholics believe in the saints.
Uh-huh.
And if you're a true Christian, you believe in Christ and you shall put no other God before him or whatever. You can't worship other people. It's Christ and Christ only. The fact that we have the saints and Catholics consider themselves Christians, but there's a lot of other Christians that are like, no, no, those Catholics aren't real Christians. So, anyhow, I learned that in the last year, and that threw me for a loop. I was like, this whole time I thought I was raised Christian, but according to some groups, I was not. So,
Well, I like on our episode with my uncle where he was like, what did you ask him? You asked him what the like craziest conspiracy theory he's heard of, the wildest conspiracy theory he's heard of. And he said that the Jews created Christianity to control the population.
I think you could make an argument for that.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. So, anyhow.
Anyway, some people are crazy.
Yes.
And back to nature.
Okay, sorry. Couldn't help myself there.
I feel like people just don't care, right? And they don't need nature. But science, I mean, what if we're just eating burgers like out of like what'd you call it? A whatever burger?
They're called Beyond Burgers, I believe.
Beyond
It's like
Burgers.
made in a lab. It's meat that's synthesized or something.
What if we're just eating Beyond Burgers and like everything's concrete in shopping malls and like you have to go like VR headset to like get into nature? Is that ever gonna? That's not gonna work, right?
I don't think it'd have the same effect on you. Like I've seen a lot about this, but like getting outdoors is good for your mental health in like measurable ways. Like for real, it makes an impact. And like spending time in nature is good for. I saw something recently that like for men, like time in nature equals increased levels of testosterone or something along those lines. And
Totally.
anyhow, I don't think
stress. I mean, you go camping. Like every time you come back from camping, don't you just feel good? You're like everything's kind of washed away, and you're like, I feel good.
I haven't been camping in a while, but like I used to refer to going camping as recharging my batteries because when I came back, it was just like like I'm ready to get back to work now. Like I had a great weekend in the wilderness, and like the fact like we would always go camping in places that did not have a cell signal, and it was like good. Like I'm cut off from the outside world for the next 2.5 days. Like let's have fun out here, and it's just nice.
Yeah, the Japanese prescribe it. It's called like Shinrin Yoku.
Okay.
And they prescribe it like in the doctor's office. If you need like go into nature, go spend time in the woods, hiking, exercising.
A couple years ago, I was getting too overweight and I needed to do something about it. And I started walking daily. And like the biggest thing, and I'm sure that being in better health also affected it, but my mental health got a lot better. And like I started to realize that like just getting outside and walking and getting fresh air and sunlight hitting me and all that was truly like mental health wise doing great for me. So if you're not doing that, everybody, you should get out there and do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everybody should get out in nature. There's one other thing about that I'm going to share with you, and it shows that even green spaces are linked to brain development, academic success, and mental health.
I totally believe that.
Which is what we're talking about. Yeah. So researchers found that access to green spaces can facilitate adolescents' neurobiological development. This exposure is also associated with improved academic performance and mental health. These results came from a sample of 7,000 U.S. children aged 9 to 10 living near a green space. The study highlights the significance of natural environments and developed brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Trump is getting rid of all this research that we're doing.
It's a waste of money. We got billionaires to give tax cuts to, sir. We can't give tax cuts to the billionaires and do cancer research, okay? There's
That's
not
true.
room for both of them.
What's more important?
Yep. No. I got to ask you a question real quick. Based off all the news you just provided me,
Yeah.
I have a very important question here.
Okay.
I make fun of people when they tell me they're like, yeah, I get all my news off of what is not Snapchat? What's the other one? What's the one I refuse to get on? I can't even remember now.
Yeah, I'm not on it either.
What's it called?
TikTok.
Like, yeah, I get all my news off TikTok, and I'm just like, why are you getting all your news off TikTok? Like, stop doing that immediately, please. I'm starting to wonder, Docs. Are you getting all your news off Instagram? Because everything that you just shared with me as news came from your Instagram feed. I'm serious, like, what is your diet of news? Do you watch any of the network news, cable news, YouTube news?
A little bit of network news, a little bit of cable news. The vast majority of my news is coming from YouTube.
Okay,
So
but
it's usually like
Kyle Klinsky.
Yeah, it's the far right and the far left. Like
Okay.
I kind of bounce back and forth between the far right and the far left. And I've really been cutting the far right out because they piss me off every time now.
I gotta say, I think you're a big Kyle Klinsky fan, and I gotta say, just based off his headlines recently, he's becoming what I can't stand, where everything is like Trump suffers embarrassing defeat, and it's like, you're way overdoing it, buddy. Like, and then maybe his videos aren't that bad, but I see that because I subscribe, so I see the headlines every day, and I can't stand that type of YouTube comment, and I don't feel like he was that bad a year or two ago, but I feel like he's definitely taken it up a notch in that department.
Just on the headlines you're talking about?
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been watching many of the videos, but the headlines alone, like just from the picture, I know what he's talking about. He'll say like Trump, blah 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 blah, and I see the picture, I'm like, oh, I know what that is, and it's not as bad as he's making it seem in his headline. So, and maybe the videos aren't that bad. Maybe he's trying to clickbait with the headlines.
They're clickbaiting. They all clickbait. They have to clickbait because they have to get the viewers. I would rather them clickbait and get more people watching their stuff than not clickbait on the
It's a battle on YouTube right now. Like the right had dominance for a while, and the left is like realized that and is trying to get into that space and kind of take back some of the viewership,
right, which is good.
And I think you're right. They probably need to do that salacious clickbait headline stuff. It just drives me insane. I wish they didn't have
money.
to.
Like the right feeds the right? Like there's just right-leaning people who are feeding them. Just like the was the Russian oligarch that was feeding Tim Pool and those guys like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like that's insane.
So and that's one thing is the right has billionaires that are backing a lot of these. Like YouTube content that you don't know is backed by a billionaire. It turns out is backed by a billionaire.
Yeah.
And I guess there's because it's YouTube, there's not disclosure laws. Like if CNN was suddenly taking money, like new ownership was somebody, like they'd have to disclose that. On YouTube, you don't have to. So it's like, oh no, you don't need to know where my money's coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there should be a law against that. Like they should have to disclose where they get their money from. And I like Kyle Klinsky because he does not even do advertising for anybody.
I appreciate that about him. I don't dislike Kyle. I'm just his headlines recently have gotten a little ridiculous. But but I'll say this: when you said like, well, they should find a way to make them disclose that. Like that gets weird because I agree with you that they should, but then also like now we're talking about regulating YouTube as you would regulate like the same rules would apply to YouTube as it would apply to cable news or whatever. And then suddenly me and you were having to deal with certain journalistic standards and this and that. And I don't know. It's one of those where it's like I kind of don't want to regulate it at all, but I also, if somebody's funding a YouTube program, we should know about it. But you can't have both.
We know it's happening all over the place.
But I'm just saying you can't have it both ways. Like either you want it to be regulated or you don't. And I think overall I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say, let's like put it on the left. What if Crystal Kyle and friends were, no, not Crystal Kyle and friends, because they wouldn't do it. But what if Cenk Uygur was taking money from Big Pharma and they stop talking crap about Big Pharma? Like, you'd be upset about that, right?
That'd be so upsetting, but also like I don't want to regulate them.
You got breaking news over there or something? Your eyes keep bouncing back and forth.
So, I don't know what I'm looking at. Yeah, sorry. There is no breaking news. White House official. Oh yeah, I did see this earlier. Trump wants to host the G20 leaders in 2026 at his Doral resort. Real quick, another form of corruption. Like, have that at Doral. He'll make all kinds of money on it. Cool, whatever. Sorry. Yeah, that's what's currently on my news station.
Yeah. Well, the world's going to shit. We're just gonna ride down with the ship, I guess.
We're gonna be okay.
Maybe. Are we gonna be okay?
Not in the long term, but right now, like it's we're gonna survive.
Maybe your daughter's generation can pull us out of this mess.
I don't know. I used to say that the young kids were going to save us. The young kids get it. But then I think that every generation, the young kids are the hippie, liberal, progressive type. And as you get older, something happens to you where you slowly become more stuck in your ways, conservative, whatever. And like I always think, the next generation's got us. But like now,
what are you talking about? Like,
I'm talking about like watching people of our parents' generation that used to be way more cool about shit that are suddenly like pretty hardcore right wing. Like, and even like part of the Joe Rogan transformation, in my opinion, is like he's getting to be an old man. Like when you get older, you start to be a Republican for some reason. I don't know why. You're complaining about these kids are being crazy. Why can't they be like we were back in the day? And that kind of that's like the doorway into conservatism.
Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah, you might be right. I also just the more I think about like my dad's generation, the baby boomer generation, the more I despise them.
I wouldn't say I despise
like
them.
they just don't care. Like my grandparents' generation, they cared. They voted. They actually like did their research, like listened to the candidate's speech, and they voted on the interest, right? That's why like JFK was elected. That's why. But our parents didn't give a shit. They just picked a side and they went with that side, right? They also didn't care about the environment at all. They they allowed us to eat like what was it? What's the meals you put in the microwave and you meal
like a TV dinner?
Yeah, TV dinner cooked in plastic. They didn't even question it. They just ate. They just like, yeah, whatever. The government's okay with it. We're gonna do it. Nobody questioned anything. They didn't give a shit.
I grew up on Stouffer's TV dinners. Like those were in our freezer at all times. And like, yeah. Just, hey, grab a Stouffer's. It's fine.
Pop-Tarts. How many Pop-Tarts did I eat? Pull it out of the
oh Jesus
cabinets. Dude, they're so bad for you.
My favorite thing real quick is me and you, I've known you since like probably 4th or 5th grade, but I don't think we ever had a class together till like sophomore or junior year of high school. And it was the first time I'd ever really had a class with you. And I remember you came in every morning, put your backpack down, pulled out a Dr. Pepper and a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
There wasn't supposed to be food and drink in the class, but for some reason the teacher just didn't ever say anything to you. And you would like crack your Dr. Pepper, eat your Pop-Tart, drink your Dr. Pepper, then put the trash in your bag, and then just immediately put your head down and like go to sleep for the rest of class. And I was just like, what is okay, cool. Yeah, that's
what class was that?
I don't remember. I think it was like what was it, criminal justice or something like that?
Yeah.
It was one of those classes.
Yeah, I remember he said something to me for like the first week, and then he just gave up.
It was just every day.
I was like, I gotta eat my breakfast, man. And then
yeah, it was like at 8:30 in the morning, and you were having a Dr. Pepper and a Pop-Tart every day, every day for a semester. I got to
so bad for me. Yeah, horrible. And my parents allowed that.
Yeah, that's what. I always give my mom shit because she'll be like, I don't know what happened, why you were overweight. And I'm like, I remember, like, you bought me Happy Meals and McDonald's. And like, when I was in like 6th grade, she was like, oh, I'll get you your own medium pizza. Like, no, like at the time I was like, cool, I get my own pizza. But like, no, like, what are we doing here, Mom? I hope she watches to the end because like the mystery of why I was overweight is easily solved. So just going to throw that out there. Yeah. Anyhow.
Well, here, let me say something that maybe you could clip and put at the beginning.
Okay.
Like and subscribe. Make a comment. Give us something good.
Yeah, okay. We forgot. Like and subscribe. We went from 1,000 views to like 30 to like 20. So we're going to do a couple more where nobody watches, and then there'll be another 300, 400, 500, and then it'll go back down to 20. So I don't know.
Maybe. Hopefully you hit an algorithm boom.
Yep. I don't know.
We need more followers. Follow us. People follow us. Just
time to go to a click farm, man. So
we're also on X and Facebook.
Oh my God. And if you find us on Instagram, that's Docs. That's not me. It says on it, Confident Andy. I didn't start that page. I'm not controlling that page. If you're on our Instagram page, that is Doc's. I'm gonna make him change that.
Yeah, that's me.
I just noticed that it says Andy on it, and people we know follow that, and you're further left
I
than
think
I
it
am.
made me do Andy because our email address is Confident Andy. Or no, it's under your name. That's right. Because
I'm sure you can fix that. So fix that for me, please.
I'll figure it out. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't want people thinking that that's me.
Maybe later.
I'm okay with your ideas. I just don't want people to think they're mine. So. All right. I will talk to you here in the next couple days, man.
Bro, I'm trying to start shit on X. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, make sure my name's not on that either. I know how you like to fight people online. I don't want to be associated with that shit. So. All right. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.